they're turning the page.
Again, our eyes are forward now. I thought our guys battled today. I thought they did a really nice job of that. And again, they worked hard together. It didn't come out on the end on our side, but that's the way it is.
Bears end the year at 3-14. Investigation is underway after a woman was found shot to death in a vehicle that also contained a young child in Joliet. Police say officers responded early yesterday to a report of a parking complaint in an alley west of the 1200 block of Clement Street. Officers located Maya Smith dead in the front seat of that vehicle. A 2-year-old girl was located unharmed in the back seat. The child was transported to a hospital for a precautionary medical examination. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is calling out Colorado Governor Jared Polis in a new letter about busing migrants to New York City and to Chicago.
To say that I'm going to push the problem to the city and didn't even notify us. Everyone knows what we're going through. This is just unacceptable.
In a letter co-authored by Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, they asked Polis to stop sending migrants to New York City and Chicago. Whether a county can have more control in Illinois over renewable wind energy projects is under consideration by the Illinois State House today in the final hours of the lame duck session. AM 560's Greg Bishop reports from Springfield on the controversial last-second legislation.
Late Sunday, Democratic State Senator Bill Cunningham advanced House Bill 4412 to provide counties with what he said were guardrails for regulating wind farms. He said it'll better align the state with its renewable energy goals.
We have other counties that have much more restrictive rules in place, and that has stymied development, and that's what we're trying to address in this bill.
Republican State Senator Chapin Rose worries about radar disruption for tracking tornadoes and concerns the turbines can kill wildlife like raptor birds.
Why is that important? Because they're the ones that keep all the other species in check. They're the ones who eat mice and rats that prevent vermin from spreading disease.
The measure was approved. Now will be sent to the House for consideration. The final day of lame duck session is Tuesday. I'm Greg Bishop.
Also in Springfield this morning, the Illinois Supreme Court has said it plans to hear arguments in March over the legal battle of ending cash bail. AM 560's Kevin Bessler has more.
The High Court put a hold on the cashless bail portion of the Safety Act until it held hearings on the matter. Governor J.B. Pritzker said he has faith in the Illinois Supreme Court.
Those of us who believe in this know that there's even more work to do, but I am comfortable and confident that this is constitutional.
State Representative Tony McCombie, who will become House Minority Leader January 11th, says she would like to see changes to the Safety Act, but as for eliminating cash bail?
Definitely the PFA, the no cash bail. In my opinion, there's nothing to negotiate there. That's in the Constitution, and that is what it is.
Various briefs in the case, filed by both states' attorneys who filed suit and the state, will be due in the weeks leading up to the March hearings. I'm Kevin Bessler.
Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White is retiring after more than 20 years in office. White stepping down as head of the state agency, being replaced by Alexei Janulius. A measure that would require Illinois schools to follow a national model for teaching sex ed has advanced in the dead of night out of a Senate committee. The bill's sponsor is State Senator Ram Vili-Vellam. It says districts have a choice to opt out.
All Illinois public school students need and deserve age-appropriate, medically accurate, and inclusive instruction that will affirm them and help them to be safe and healthy.
However, State Senator Sue Rezin says the fact that school districts and parents have rejected that curriculum should send a strong message to lawmakers wanting to try to force it into the classroom.
The standards went too far, and that's why we are seeing tremendous pushback by the school districts and their school boards, and we believe in local control.
According to Awake Illinois, only 25 schools have opted into some or all of national sex ed standards, while 548 have opted out. McDonald's is planning to lay off corporate staff. According to its CEO, a memo to employees from the CEO said the company will be evaluating roles and future staffing plans expected by April. A suburban Chicago college is postponing 2 men's basketball games after 5 players went to the hospital following a rigorous workout. Concordia University Chicago also has temporarily removed coach Steve Kolar. The athletic director says he's investigating whether the difficult workout was in response to players missing curfew on a trip to California. White Sox player is undergoing cancer treatment. Liam Hendriks diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. He'll start treatments today. The Blackhawks came up clutch during a 4-3 OT win over Calgary at the UC. Max Domi, the game winner. Big Ten Hoops, Northwestern survives a late rally from number 19 Indiana during an 84-83 win for the Wildcats at Assembly Hall. Cats now 3-1 in the Big Ten and host Rutgers next. Bulls had a strong fourth quarter during a 126-118 win over Utah Saturday. They visit the Celtics tonight. And finally, give this Detroit Lions fan just a little time to brag. My Lions ended Green Bay's season with a 20-16 win over the Packers last night. Running back Jamal Williams says he really wanted to beat his old team.
This game was very special to me. I'm just grateful for my teammates for how they came out, just kept playing. I'm just grateful to be on part of this team. Just the energy around here is great. I'm just glad we came out here and handled business in Lambeau.
And they handled business. Packer QB Aaron Rodgers may have played his last game at Lambeau. On kind of a sad note, Texans are moving on from their second head coach in the last 2 seasons. Houston decided last night to fire Lovie Smith. Lovie's one of the good guys, and the Texans will not find a better man to lead their franchise. The news, a service of the AM 560 store, 560theanswer.com/store, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey, it's Dan Proft. You know, I like to speak the truth and offer solutions. Well, if you have high blood pressure or know someone who does, I have the answer for you. I'm going to tell you about my friends at 120 Life. 120 Life, they're a Chicago company that developed a juice drink that helps lower your blood pressure naturally, or in my case, helps me keep my blood pressure in check. 120 Life, it's a natural juice drink you drink every day without the side effects of pills. I'm drinking it, I love it, and you will too. It keeps me energized, it keeps my blood pressure in check. The truth is, there are easy, natural ways to keep your blood pressure in check, and one of them is 120 Life. Check it out and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. You can order a 2-week trial pack of their juice drink. There's a money-back guarantee, and you can use the coupon code DAN to save 10%. The natural answer to high blood pressure. Visit 120life.com today and start lowering your blood pressure in just 2 weeks.
You don't just want healthy snacks, you need healthy snacks. A great snack should be nutritious, delicious, and portable. That's exactly what you'll get from Fueled by AF no-bake protein-packed nut butter bites. With favorite flavor combos like chocolate peanut butter, maple pecan, fudge brownie, and chocolate chip cookie dough, your whole family will be satisfied. Fueled by AF snacks are vegan, gluten-free, plant-based, high-protein snacks made right here in Chicagoland. More importantly, Fueled by AF fosters and cultivates a work culture of diversity and inclusion by employing the disabled. Every bite is made with love. Whether you're an athlete, need a quick bite before your next meeting, or on the run with kids, choose Fueled by AF protein bites and be sure to try the natural nut butter collection as well. Shop online at fueledbyafsnacks.com. That's fueledbyafsnacks.com. For a limited time, use promo code RADIO for 10% off your first order.
It's 5:12. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time, a service of Cabino Environmental. If you need an expert that can come in and clean up that fuel spill, visit CabinoEnvironmental.com. Their environmental response team will come to the rescue, CabinoEnvironmental.com. Only one problem out there this morning, I-80, eastbound between Chicago and Richards, accident blocking a left-hand lane. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Today, times of clouds and sun, are high 41. It'll be cloudy tonight, low 33. Partly sunny for tomorrow, the high 42. Clouds Wednesday, the high 44. Plan with confidence. Check out AccuWeather.com today. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
26 at O'Hare, 33 Lakefront, 27 Midway, 23 in Aurora. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Hi, it's Amy, and MyPillow is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Folks, they look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. So trust me, these sheets are ridiculously comfy. Rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get duvets, quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. MyPillow is also extending their money-back guarantee until March. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use promo code Amy, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including those amazing Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98 while quantities last. And don't forget to use promo code Amy for the best possible discounts available.
When your home or business has an insurance claim, the next step is very important. The claim process with insurance can be tedious, hard to understand, and difficult to navigate. You need someone working for you. You need a licensed claim adjuster. Why? The insurance company will send out their inspectors that work for them, get paid by them, and represent them, not you.
This is Dan Lights from Crosscom. We inspect your property, file your claim, negotiate the damages, and maximize your settlement with your insurance company. If we complete the repairs approved by your insurance company, our service is free. Crosscom Public Adjusters has turned denied claims into approved claims. We've also increased insurance claims anywhere from 23 to 1,000%. We are licensed by the Department of Insurance and work in Illinois, Northwest Indiana, and Southern Wisconsin. Crosscom Public Adjusters, 630-871-5500. Online at CrosscomInc.com. That's CrosscomInc.com. Crosscom, building trust for over 20 years.
Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet? Is continual numbness, tingling, and burning pain stopping you from being with your family? Are you unable to play golf or other activities you used to enjoy? Are you concerned about falling, or have you already? Have you tried typical treatments of drugs and therapy and not gotten any better or even worse? There's now a treatment that's already helped thousands improve their neuropathy so that they can get their lives back. Gold Coast Chiropractic now has a cutting-edge natural solution with a 95% success rate to improve your neuropathy right here in Chicago and can be done in the comfort of your own home. A solution that addresses the underlying cause of neuropathy without taking endless drugs with serious side effects. Call today for a complimentary nerve screening in the Gold Coast or Wheaton to see if this treatment can That's 773-524-4164.
This is Ryan Anderson, president of the Ethics and Public Policy Center for townhall.com. 100 years from now, people will still be reading the works of Joseph Ratzinger, the man who went on to become Pope Benedict XVI and was laid to rest last week. They'll be reading him because he was one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th and 21st centuries in general, and perhaps the greatest Catholic mind of the past 50 years. Benedict understood that the great challenge of our time is a battle of ideas. A battle of ideas about who and what God is, if God is. A battle of ideas about who and what man is, and what man's place in the cosmos may be. A battle of ideas about faith and reason, and mankind's ability to apprehend objective truth. As brilliant as he was, he knew the thing that mattered most was friendship with God. His last words on earth: I'm Ryan Anderson.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu. You can't live forever, but your legacy can. At Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, they've helped families set their legacies in stone for over 180 years. With interest-free financing and low monthly payments, now is the time to set your final wishes in place. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 today to schedule a free consultation.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Monday morning. Amy Jacobson here, and Ray Stevens in for Dan Proft this morning.
Feels like I was just here. I'm back again.
I know. You filled in for 3 days?
3 whole days.
That's 12 hours of radio.
It was the best 12 hours of radio on WIND last year.
Oh, that's so rude. Well, you're always here when it's busy, and we have lots of news to get to. President Trump visited the border for the first time, and we'll get into that in our 6 o'clock hour because they cleaned up the streets there. In
sure.
They didn't take him into the second ward. I used to be a reporter there, and the second ward was down near the Saragossa Bridge. He went to the Freedom Bridge. But he didn't veer right and go 2 blocks down and see.
Of course, he's not going to veer right.
He's hundreds of thousands of migrants who are in front of this church. Hey-o.
Come on now.
So we're going to talk about that.
Yay.
And then it's back to school today for Chicago Public Schools.
Take your COVID test. Wear your masks.
Oh, no, that is what I got as a parent, as an employee, I got dozens of, before you send your son to school, for the greater good of the community. Mm-hmm. We handed out COVID tests before we left for Christmas or holiday break. Can't say Christmas. So make sure that you take their test before sending little Sally back to school today.
Maybe later on in the show, I'll tell you about my experience last week with the Social Security Administration that somehow has my mother making $350,000 a year.
Oh, can she adopt me?
And how I was profiled at that office.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about that at 5:30. Right. But first, our national nightmare is over.
I see that.
After 15 rounds of voting, Kevin McCarthy, we finally have a House Speaker.
Nice.
Did you watch it Friday?
I watched a lot of it, and I just thought, man, come on, you couldn't get I get it. There's, you've got people that want to, that omnibus bill was insane.
Yep.
People that pushed it through, but here it was done. Why do we do this in public? Why not do it behind closed doors? The Democrats don't eat their own. The Republicans do.
Exactly. And Kevin McCarthy, the first time up there, as Speaker of the House, he joked a little bit about it at first.
That was easy, huh? I never thought we'd get up here. Thank you, Minority Leader Jeffries. Hakeem, I've got to warn you. 2 years ago, I got 100% of the vote from my conference.
We're trying to bring some levity to the situation, but they have a plan, okay? Here's the plan. They're going to do something. They're going to help Americans, all right?
Pledge to cut the regulatory burden, lower energy costs for families, and create good-paying jobs for workers by unleashing reliable, abundant, American-made energy.
That was, but that's true. We need help. Parents, I don't know if you've been to fast food lately. You probably don't eat a lot of fast food.
Well, neither do you.
Well, I'm with my children the past 3 weeks because I sent my son back to college yesterday. Still cried, by the way. Guess how much it costs for 4 of us to go to Potbelly's?
Potbelly? Hold on. Give me a second here. $67.
$78.
Okay.
To go to McDonald's for 4 of us, guess how much? And we didn't get anything. We just got one meal.
Well, it was at least $45.
$60.
I stopped at
you don't understand. Like, people don't understand how. And if you go to the grocery store, I don't know if you do the shopping or.
Of course, I do.
How nothing has trickled down to the grocery. I know they say gas prices are down, but nothing. Inflation is still high.
Who says gas
prices are still high? You can't buy a house right now because mortgage prices are so.
On my way into this opulent studio this morning, I see gas prices are all at $3.69.
I know what I went away for 2 weeks.
Right.
Before I left, it was $2.99. I always go to Easterfield and Arlington Heights Road. $2.99. I came back now. It's $3.79.
Yeah.
What happened?
I go deep into the heart of the city so I can pay $4.49.
Oh, when you see people gassing up down there, don't you look like you're a bunch of idiots?
Yeah, you need to go to Wisconsin
or Indiana. All right, 312-642-5600. Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker, but can he keep Republicans in line? Matt Gaetz, who was the thorn in his side because the 14th round. I don't know if you watched it, but during the 14th round. He was the one holdout. And that's when things got crazy. Did you see the near fist fight that almost happened?
I saw that. The dude from, was it?
Congressman Mike Rogers from Alabama.
I need to get home and watch some football. And because if I don't, I'm going to kick your ass.
Well, it looks like he tried to, and another gentleman grabbed her shirt. Like, not only shut up, I'm going to shut you up, and then I'm going to pull you back because he was lunging toward Gaetz.
Yeah.
It was a bit, and of course, CNN loved it.
I don't like guys that lunge. If you're going to go. If hands are going to be thrown, go.
Yeah, well, CNN loved it.
Yeah.
Just Scott, you said this is treachery.
This is treachery.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank all of our viewers for watching CNN's exclusive screening of Snakes on a Plane Part 2. I've never seen the amount of treachery, not since 1856, when Preston Brooks caned Charles Sumner have we seen this kind of treachery under the Capitol dome.
Was that on C-SPAN?
This is crazy. And they hadn't passed a rules package, so we couldn't even have the camera angles.
This is absolutely high drama, crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm. Come to Chicago and watch the news if you want to see treachery and high drama.
Well, back in Detroit, when with Bill Bonds, he threatened the mayor of Detroit. What was his name? Mike Coleman Young. No, who is Coleman Young. He threatened him to a fist fight on TV.
Well, I don't know if that's threatening. I think that's just an offer.
All right, but back to the matter at hand. What's the first responsibility? What's the first thing Kevin McCarthy is going to do? What everybody wants him to do.
But when we come back, our very first bill will repeal the funding for 87,000 new IRS. You see, we believe government should be to help you, not go after you. We're going to pass bills to fix the nation's current challenges, from wide open southern borders to American last energy policies to woke indoctrination in our schools.
I'm excited about our future.
Well,
Matt Gaetz, he went on to Fox News to explain, was it worth it? And I think what they did was worth it.
So is it worth it all going 15 rounds to elect a speaker? Absolutely. We got concessions that really were being rejected as early as Monday when it comes to being able to read legislation 72 hours before its adoption, individual appropriations bills, and ultimately what we negotiated ensures that we will never again have a circumstance like this omnibus spending legislation, because bills will have to comport to a single subject. There will be germanity requirements on amendments, and so it's going to be an open process, a transparent process. I'm thrilled at where the House of Representatives is today.
Now we can get back to work on that Michelle Obama trail in Atlanta. Let's get that done.
Did you see the Michelle Obama trail? I looked at it. Doesn't need any restorations.
4 miles long.
But and guess what it leads to? Obama Elementary School.
Does it? Nice. Yeah. Wow.
But here's the thing. There was one thing that Matt Gaetz said that kind of upset a lot of people. He said that the speaker's position is a ceremonial position only, and he had to explain himself.
Well, Speaker McCarthy is our speaker, and long live the speaker. I look forward to working closely with him, but he did agree, to his great credit, to democratize power to the membership. Oftentimes, these committees that decide what bills come to the floor, what the spending paradigm is, they're controlled just by people loyal to the speaker. Now what we have is a real representation of all of the different viewpoints within our conference. On the Rules Committee, on the Appropriations Committee, we fought hard to get agreements to have conservatives on those committees, to have our budget hawks on appropriations, and I can't wait to see what we're able to do when we unlock the potential of all of our members going forward.
So are you a fan of Matt Gaetz?
You know, I am. And you know, I think we lose sight of you know, what's really important at the end of the day.
Right.
Is that Nancy Pelosi's gone. Praise Jesus.
I know. So Kevin McCarthy won with 216 votes over Hakeem Jeffries, who had 211, because the 5 Republican members voted present.
Okay, yeah.
And so Mary Miller, she voted for, she changed her mind. 14 people changed their mind. The 5 that voted present, in case you care, Biggs, Boebert, Crane, Good, Rosendale, and Gates. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. You can also reach us all morning long at 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Bob in Buffalo Grove, good morning. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Amy. Nice to hear you ramble and Ray. Hopefully my cell won't drop this call like it did on Friday. With regards to the House, I'm just wondering what investigations will first come to light. Should we investigate Hunter, or should we investigate Mayorkas? With regards to the border, I'm just wondering when the investigations are going to start.
That's a good question. Let's do them both at the same time.
You know, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because and I think this is probably why some of this fight took place, because I think there's a whole faction of people that are just like, you know what, let's not go down this road. Let's just keep it nice and let's do the work of the people. And I agree with that, but you got to, the chicken's got to come home to roost.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, well, today's the day Governor Pritzker's inaugurated. What kind of tone do you think he'll take during his speech? And did you hear Governor Newsom's speech over the weekend?
I heard of it. I didn't watch it.
Oh, you're going to hear it, and you're going to we're going to get your reaction. But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
32 degrees at 5:30. Pockets of locally dense fog and potentially slick surfaces this morning. President Biden is in Mexico for the first time since taking office. It comes just one day after his very short visit to the southern border as president. Texas Governor Greg Abbott hand-delivered a letter to the president in which he criticized the administration's border policy.
He should have been down here from day one to fix the problem that he created.
Senator Angus King says there's an obvious deal to be made between Democrats and Republicans on border security.
There's a package, and border security is where it starts.
Biden will discuss migration issues with the country's president and the Canadian Prime Minister at a North American Leaders Summit. Officials in Brazil say 400 have been arrested, all connected to the recent storming of government buildings. Those have since been cleared. Well, sometimes democracy, and in a federal republic, democracy is messy.
That's exactly how the founders intended it. They wanted real debate, real input from all people, and then you get a decision, whether it's 1 vote or 15 votes.
And according to Congressman Jim Jordan on Fox News, Texas Congressman Chip Roy celebrating a new House Speaker, saying a little conflict is necessary in order to get things done.
I don't think anybody on either side of the aisle could say with a straight face that they think that Washington is doing good work for the American people on a regular basis and isn't broken.
Texas Republican praised open rules and some major new rules on transparency as the 118th Congress moves forward. There's a tentative agreement at 2 New York City hospitals impacted by the threat of a nursing strike. Vikings lock up the number 3 seed in the NFC after a win over the Bears in Week 18 action at Soldier Field, 29-13. Bears end their year at 3-14 and hold the number 1 draft pick. An investigation is underway after a woman was found shot to death in a vehicle also containing a young child in suburban Joliet. The 2-year-old girl was located unharmed. Officers located Maya Smith dead in the front seat of that vehicle. J.B. Pritzker will take the oath of office for his second term as governor of Illinois today. But now that the Illinois Supreme Court has said it plans to hear arguments in March over the legal battle over ending cash bail, the future House Minority Leader says it's cut and dry. The governor will lose. Here's AM 560's Kevin Bessler.
The High Court put a hold on the cashless bail portion of the Safety Act until it held hearings on the matter. Governor J.B. Pritzker said he has faith in the Illinois Supreme Court.
Those of us who believe in this know that there's even more work to do, but I am comfortable and confident that this is constitutional.
State Representative Tony McCombie, who will become House Minority Leader January 11th, says she would like to see changes to the Safety Act, but asked for eliminating cash bail.
Definitely the PFA, the no cash bail. In my opinion, there's nothing to negotiate there. That's in the Constitution, and that is what it is.
Various briefs in the case, filed by both states' attorneys who filed suit and the state, will be due in the weeks leading up to the March hearings. I'm Kevin Bessler.
The pastor who founded Chicago's largest African-American church is saying goodbye. Reverend James Meeks gave his final sermon yesterday at Salem Baptist Church.
I leave you, I'm out, peace out, but I leave you in the hands of the Lord.
Former Illinois State Senator passed the torch to incoming pastor Charlie Dates. Bears are on the clock following their loss to the Vikings at Soldier Field. They're first up in the NFL draft in April. Blackhawks come up clutch during a 4-3 OT win over Calgary at the UC. Big Ten hoops, Northwestern survives a late rally from number 19 Indiana in an 84-83 Wildcat win at Assembly Hall. They take on Rutgers on Wednesday. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
The Sean Thompson Show.
Does this country even represent itself? How it used to be? Have we become so used to fascism, so used to political whores and pimps and open and notorious bribery, that a scoundrel like Kevin McCarthy would even be considered, which goes to show you just how systemic the corruption is in this country.
The Sean Thompson Show, weekday afternoons at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Thousands of young people are dying from counterfeit prescription drugs laced with lethal doses of fentanyl.
Never take a pill unless it comes from your pharmacist. We lost my 18-year-old son who had a very bright future ahead of him, and it was stolen.
Just one counterfeit pill laced with fentanyl can kill. Visit onepillkilled.org.
onepillkilled.org.
onepillkilled.org to learn more.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential diesel, or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. A storm is on the horizon. Plan ahead. Call now to prepare generators for storms and potential power outages. Call 630-834-6000, 630-834-6000, or charlesequipment.com.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
5:37, Team Hochberg traffic center time. One major trouble spot this morning in Gurnee. US 41 northbound, right at Stern School Road. Blocked due to a bad accident reported there. Emergency equipment is on the scene. Expressways and toll roads are looking good right now. The Stevenson, a tap of the brakes inbound right now at Ashland Avenue, all the way into the Ryan Merge. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun and 41 today. Cloudy and 33 overnight. 42 tomorrow. 26 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560 The Answer.
Oh, yeah. Good morning. Amy Jacobson, Ray Stevens, and I don't call you Ramblin' Ray anymore.
You can call me whatever you want.
All right, well,
I don't. It just doesn't even matter to me. You can call me Ramblin'.
All right,
you can call me Ray.
We brought Mike, and we're bringing Mike into this conversation because the Illinois State Senate in Springfield did not vote on that historic bill to ban the sale of assault weapons and extended magazine clips. So, Mike, what happened last night?
Well, our reporters, Greg Bishop and Kevin Bessler, were on the scene last night in Springfield, and quite honestly, they have shoved other things in front, like a pay hike for not only the General Assembly, but also for all 21 major heads of committees and constitutional officers. That has come before those other two legislative. I wouldn't put out of the realm of possibility that they may get to them, but when other things get shoved in front, like, for example, Bill Cunningham put forth his wind farm guardrail legislation last night. That is coming before and coming out of committee before these other things. So you don't put it past them to run that legislation last, because they want as little as possible debate over that issue and fire over that issue. But other things are coming up quicker than those two major bills. One is an abortion bill that prevents states from backtracking on legal ramifications, and this anti-Second Amendment bill that is up in Springfield.
And don't they have to be done by January 10th?
They were supposed to be done by January 10th. Yes, the lame duck session ends, and then the new General Assembly is sworn in on Wednesday, unlike today when constitutional officers are sworn in.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And you're a gun owner. I'm a gun owner, too. We don't talk about what weapons we have.
I don't know.
And that's why people don't call in, because if you want an assault weapon, you want people to really know. Well, but you can call in using a different name, 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
If I never assault anybody with it, is it an assault rifle?
Well, what defines a weapon as an assault rifle?
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
does anybody know? Do these lawmakers even know?
Was that van used in the Waukesha Parade massacre? Is that an assault van? I don't know. I don't know what makes anything an assault, whatever, either way.
Well, moms demanding action were down there again yesterday with, because they think that they know what everyone in the state of Illinois wants.
We're pretty confident that ultimately the right thing will get passed, mostly because, 90% of people in this country are in favor of sensible gun legislation. So the will of the people is really on our side.
Is that true? 90% of the people in this country want reasonable gun legislation?
I think 90% of the people that have tea in her kitchen, maybe. But, look, we just came through a huge hunting season, whether it was crossbow, bow, shotgun here in Illinois, rifle, anywhere else in the country. There were no mass shootings there. Sensible sportsmen. I mean, it's so stupid, and it's at the heart of every conversation we have when we talk about this. Is you are taking away the legal gun owners' rights because these guys, in the major cities, ours included, right here, and they're not going to follow laws. If they were going to follow laws, they'd make murder illegal.
And what they wanted to do, I mean, if you own an assault rifle, they wanted you to register your weapon within 300 days of this being signed into law.
And the Illinois FOID card, it's unconstitutional. It's just
4
BS.
states have FOID cards. Us, Hawaii, Massachusetts, and what's the fourth one? Oh, Amy. I can't remember.
It comes from Massachusetts, right?
What?
Massholes.
But I mean, we have FOID, but the FOID card didn't even work because this whole thing is because of the Highland Park parade shooting, where 7 people died, and I am so sorry that happened. But the onus, I think, lies on the shooter's dad, who took him to buy his weapons when he knew that he had threatened family members.
Yeah, look,
the police have been called to that house several times. Everybody who lives in Highland Park knows that family. Everybody at Highland Park High School knows that kid, that shooter. And he should not have ever had access to a weapon.
The thing is,
and his dad did it for him anyway and signed for his FOID card.
I don't think we have to quantify it by saying, every shooting's bad and we feel bad for you. But this goes on every single weekend in Chicago, every day, every night.
Well,
there's a mass shooting every weekend.
I know. And
nobody shows up there because nobody cares about the south side of Chicago. But, man, if it happens in Naperville or somewhere else, well, then it gets national attention, and it's BS.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Let's go to Joe, who's in his car. Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Ray. Look, anything you can use in an assault would be called an assault weapon, okay? So technically these rifles that they're using as they're characterizing it as an assault weapon, that's a farce. They're not assault weapons. Nothing's fully automatic. The military doesn't even use these type of weapons. It's just a hopped up 22 caliber hunting rifle with a couple little trinkets on the, bling on the outside of it that makes it look like an assault weapon. It's, and that's a term used by the leftists, assault weapon. They're rifles for sporting and hunting. Okay, so you want to do something. You talk about mass shootings, all that. They just changed the name from gangland shootings to mass shootings, okay? So stop the gang crime in the city of Chicago, Cook County, and the outer collar counties, and then you won't see all this stuff, okay? And stop the leftists from doing whatever they want in this country right now. The good American citizens need to stand up to these leftists and step on them and be done with them. This is a joke. This is terrible.
All right. Thanks, Joe. And nobody knows the future of this bill. We don't know. Mike, do you know when Senate's going to reconvene to try and vote on this? Because Pritzker's all ready to sign it. He can't wait. He keeps releasing press releases.
Well, there's 2 possible paths for this. It's out of committee in the House. It's passed the House. It's in the Senate. It's passed committee in the Senate. It's ready to be voted on by the Senate. There's a regular order for bills to have to go through. They have to come to the floor. They have to be read for a certain amount of hours before the legislation can actually be voted on, and then they can be voted on. So clock is ticking. And if other legislation is in line before these bills, then the clock may run out. But Pritzker has always had it in his mind that if he doesn't get it in the lame duck session, which is easy to do because you can ram it through, he can also get this through the next session of the Illinois General Assembly as well.
Since the Democrats have the supermajority in the House and Senate, they can do whatever the heck they want.
It will be different. It will not have all the bells and whistles that some activist groups would like, according to those down on the rail in Springfield. But it will essentially do the same thing. So they have contingencies in place. If it doesn't pass in the lame duck session, they'll run it through the next session of the General Assembly and have it done before May, maybe June.
Thank you. Let's go to Dan in Lake Zurich. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. I just wanted to make a comment about firearms, and we've got to stop following the left side and calling it a weapon, because a firearm is not a weapon until it's used in an assault or a robbery, just like a tennis racket, a skateboard. Until you use it to hurt somebody, it is not a weapon. A firearm's a tool. You go target practicing, you're not using a weapon, you're using a firearm. That's my comment for you this morning.
Thanks, Dan.
You ever go shooting with your mom or dad, Amy? You ever been out to a firing range or a shooting range? Yeah,
I have. Last time I shot was at Oakbrook. No, God, what am I talking about? River Forest Oakbrook Country Club. We went skeet shooting.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I remember.
But last time I went was at it was a shooting range in Des Plaines.
My grandfather and my dad would take me to this gun club in Dundee, and they'd sight in their rifles for deer season, and they'd give me a little 410 or a 22 and put me down in a chair and give me a box of ammo and say, shoot at that piece of corn in the water until we get back. And that's what I did. I mean,
I've got
the best memories of going in a truck with my dad and my grandpa, and that's what guys like Governor Pritzker will never understand. Because this guy is just he is just a sissy with soft hands that's never done a hard day's work in his life, and he doesn't get the camaraderie or anything that comes with anything that has to do with shooting as a team or sporting clays or playing on a team. And it's just a joke because it's all about him. And and I get it. I mean, it probably couldn't have fit him in the truck when they were young, so they probably left him at home.
Well, he was probably scared of weapons because I used to be afraid of weapons, and then I had a stalker in Tucson, and that's when I learned how to shoot. Because when I called police, and I love the Tucson Police Department, but they weren't there right away. And that guy, they couldn't arrest him on anything. So, and you file an order of protection, it's a frickin' piece of paper that's not going to protect you.
You just
at
had
3 a.m. when you're going to work by yourself. So I got a .38 special. I legally obtained it and learned how to shoot.
Amy
and
just
then
had
I wasn't
her
afraid of them.
Big green frame glasses on. If you wear those, I'd stalk you. You look good in those things. Oh, yeah.
Oh, should I put it on my Kristen Cinemas?
Yeah, those
That's
are
what I
hot.
call them. You wore these before.
Can I say that?
I have a picture of you wearing my glasses. That's hot.
One of my prouder moments in broadcasting.
All right, let's go to Phil in Maryville. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I was going to say, the last study they did, there was 100,000 active gang members in Chicago/Cook County. I want to know how many of those 100,000 are going to hand in their handguns, rifles, and extended magazines.
I've said it all the time, man. I said when somebody's going to go collect guns, whether it's in the inner city or if it's out on a farm where they've got the lathes and the stock and they can make all their own weapons, I hope that it's somebody else's kid and not mine. Of course, if it was my kid, he would just collect the weapons and keep them for himself.
Exactly. All right, let's go to, I think it's Miro on the northwest side. Did I get that right?
Yeah, thank you. Every time I hear about gun control or gun confiscation, it's always a Democrat. The Democrats are the ones who raise the taxes, overregulate, and try to deprive me of my freedom. It's just something people just think about, that it's never the Republican Party that wants to confiscate your weapons, not allow you to protect yourself. It's always the Democrat Party, as if they're scared of a public that's armed. Why don't they just come out and say, we want to control you, and we don't want you to have the ability to protect yourself. Never trust a politician that will deprive you of your ability to defend yourself. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miro. Appreciate that. And by the way, New Jersey was the 4th state that has a FOID card. No other state. So Illinois, Hawaii, Massachusetts, New Jersey.
Well, there's no crime in New Jersey.
Oh, no, not in Chicago. I mean, I guess, and this is sad, I guess we had a pretty good weekend. 11 shot, 1 fatally in Chicago.
And that's
when have we seen numbers like that?
And that's with the temperatures being cold. That's still
all right, let's go to Mark in Rochelle. Good morning. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I just wanted to add to the Highland Park shooter that I think part of the reason was because he was young when he made those threats, that they had that push for, I think it was called second chances for youth, so that their record wouldn't reflect some of the crimes they committed, so they get a job when they were older or something. And it just, to me, it's well, as soon as it's anything violent, it stays on their record. I'm sorry.
It should. You're right.
Yeah, it's like, and it's different if they had a minor theft or something. I don't want that to keep them from, getting a job when they're older and whatnot. But yeah, as soon as they threaten the other people's lives, it stays on your record. And if you go to try and buy a firearm, it's there, and maybe there could be a little more to it than that. But I blame that. I believe that's part of the problem they had was they had trouble even looking up this kid's record when he was young, and it just, I don't know what you think, and maybe you can add to what was that legislation.
Well, his dad co-signed for his FOID card, knowing that he had mental illness issues, and that he threatened. Thanks, Mark, for the phone call, and that he threatened his family members. Not once, but 2 different times. And they kicked him out of the house, and he was living with the uncle. And I know you love your children, but at some point in time, there's boundaries, and parents don't realize that.
Yeah, I love all these red flag laws that we have.
Oh yeah,
but then if
that
you
didn't
try,
work.
But if you try to use one, then you're profiling somebody.
Exactly.
It's like, we're nuts.
And quickly, so there was this shooting. I don't know if I have to show you this video during the break. So it's a Mexican restaurant, it's taqueria, they call it, in Houston. And this guy walks in and holds up, everybody takes their cell phone and wallet. 10 people. He went up to 10 customers. He's walking around, pointing the gun, grabs all the stuff. While he's walking out, an older white gentleman stands up and shoots him and kills him. And now it turns out that he had a plastic pistol, that the gunman had a plastic pistol, not a real gun.
Yeah.
So now they're looking for him to interview him.
Just an interview.
Sure. The surveillance video, showed what
Come
happened.
on in.
Yeah, sure. Do you think he should?
We just want to talk to you. There's no charges.
But that's my biggest fear as a gun owner is that I'm going to shoot somebody and it's a Nerf gun or it's a plastic pistol in this case. And then I don't know if what's going to happen to this
But
guy.
that's the logic of a normal human being. Is your logic as somebody that carries or concealed carries is, I know where this is going to lead if I have to do this. I don't think anybody starts their day wanting to go out, a normal person, and defend themselves and take somebody's life. But if it's you or me, guess what, buddy? It's going to be you. Sorry.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Ryan Anderson, president of the Ethics and Public Policy Center for townhall.com. 100 years from now, people will still be reading the works of Joseph Ratzinger, the man who went on to become Pope Benedict XVI and was laid to rest last week. They'll be reading him because he was one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th and 21st centuries in general, and perhaps the greatest Catholic mind of the past 50 years. Benedict understood that the great challenge of our time is a battle of ideas. A battle of ideas about who and what God is, if God is. A battle of ideas about who and what man is, and what man's place in the cosmos may be. A battle of ideas about faith and reason, and mankind's ability to apprehend objective truth. As brilliant as he was, he knew the thing that mattered most was friendship with God. His last words on earth were reportedly, "Jesus, I love you." May they be all of our last words as well. I'm Ryan Anderson.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Hi, this is Carl Amari.
I'm Lisa Wolf. Join us every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. for all things entertainment on Hollywood 360.
If you love classic radio shows, The Shadow, Jack Benny, The Lone Ranger, Dragnet, Gunsmoke, and many more, we have them for you on Hollywood 360.
We'll also present trivia contests with prizes, showbiz news, celebrity interviews, games, and movie reviews.
So don't miss Hollywood 360 every Saturday night beginning at 8 p.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Mike Gallagher. Join me on an amazing journey through Israel this October. Dennis Prager and I are going back to the Holy Land for the Stand With Israel tour, along with our trusted partner, Inspiration Cruises and Tours. Imagine a personal impact from exploring Jerusalem, Galilee, the Dead Sea region, and so much more. Visit standwithisraeltour.com, standwithisraeltour.com, or call 855-565-5519. Standwithisraeltour.com.
Democrats predicted an end to high inflation, but nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings from inflation by diversifying into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word SAFEGUARD to 989898, and you'll get a free info kit on gold IRAs that will explain everything. Again, that's SAFEGUARD to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
You can't live forever, but your legacy can. At Catholic Cemeteries of Chicago, they've helped families set their legacies in stone for over 180 years. With interest-free financing and low monthly payments, now is the time to set your final wishes in place. Visit CatholicCemeteryChicago.org or call 708-236-5490 today to schedule a free consultation.
Now through January 31st, Permaseal has 10% off all of our products and services. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer. Our family is proud to help you protect your biggest investment and provide the peace of mind that comes with lifetime warranties and permanent solutions at the best price of the year. In these uncertain times, we want to make it easy for you to have a warmer home, dry usable crawl space, and a stable foundation. Call 800-421-SEAL to schedule a free inspection. This sale includes all of our services like structural repairs, plumbing, sewer, electrical, insulation, egress windows, crack repairs, sump pumps, concrete raising, basement defender systems, everything's included. For the past 44 years, over 500,000 homeowners have trusted Permaseal, and so can you. 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net to schedule your free inspection. Call before January 31st. Ask about our 12 months, no-interest financing. This offer may not be combined with any other discounts or promotions.
AM 560, The Answer.
I find out that Highland Park did have a ban on assault weapons, and that was in place right after the Sandy Hook shooting.
Yep.
So did Deerfield. I mean, we have law after law after law, but they only work if you follow them. The bad guys, Amy, they don't follow.
Bad guys don't care. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Biden finally heads to the border. And where should immigrants be housed here in Chicago? We have a case of not in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Illinois House Republican Jim Durkin is resigning from the General Assembly. 5 hurt in a Northside crash. Human remains found in Lake Michigan. Bears secure the top pick in the NFL draft, and the Blackhawks walk off the Flames. WIND Chicago News Time, 6.
President Biden does what Republicans long demanded. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. He visited the southern border, going to El Paso, but Texas GOP Governor Greg Abbott was unimpressed.
He's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
Abbott's demanding federal repayments for Texas dealing with a record surge of illegal border crossings, says he faced criticism for busing migrants to cities like Chicago, New York, and Washington.
The president started his tour in El Paso at the Bridge of the Americas, El Paso's busiest port of entry. He saw firsthand how U.S. Customs officials use technology to prevent drugs and other contraband from trying to come into the country.
Fox's Mark Meredith was there in El Paso.
The president got an up-close look at the U.S.-Mexico border. The president also saw a migrant assistance center. Humanitarian groups have repeatedly said that they have simply been overwhelmed by the sheer amount of people seeking assistance. The president was even asking them what do they need, and they said that they simply need more resources, more money, more help.
Today, the president's in Mexico for a 2-day summit with Mexican and Canadian leaders. Immigration expected to be a big topic. The House gets to work today now that Kevin McCarthy's finally Speaker. First up, voting on rules to govern the House.
To secure the votes of GOP hardliners, McCarthy agreed to a set of rules that may not be an easy sell for some lawmakers. That includes not increasing debt limits without spending cuts and not bringing bills to the floor until 72 hours have passed.
Fox's Brooke Singman. In Ukraine, an attack is in dispute. Russia's military claims missiles hit 2 Ukrainian bases, killing hundreds of troops. Ukraine says no, not true, denying there are any casualties, saying the strikes hit civilian infrastructure. In New York City, you're hearing thousands of nurses who just went on strike this morning at 2 hospitals in a contract dispute that led to new agreements with nurses at several other hospitals. Those nurses got 19% pay raises amid big staff shortages. Mount Sinai and Montefiore will use traveling temporary nurses. America's listening to Fox.
25 degrees, 6:02 is our time on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. We will have pockets of locally heavy, dense fog, and potentially slick surfaces this morning to deal with while you're driving in. 5 are hurt following a crash on the north side. Police say a man was driving a Chevy last night in the 1900 block of West Toohey when he sideswiped another vehicle, then went through a red light and hit another vehicle. 5 victims are hospitalized, 2 in critical condition. An investigation is underway after a body was found in Lake Michigan. Police say the discovery was made yesterday in the first block of North DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The body has not yet been identified. Vikings lock up the number 3 seed in the NFC after a win over the Bears, 29-13. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus states the obvious: losing is never fun.
Again, our eyes are forward now. I thought our guys battled today. I thought they did a really nice job of that. And again, they worked hard together. It didn't come out on the end on our side, but that's the way it is.
However, the Bears do get the number 1 overall pick in this year's NFL draft, ending the year 3-14. New York City Mayor Eric Adams is calling out Colorado Governor Jared Polis in a new letter about busing migrants to New York City and Chicago.
To say that I'm going to push the problem to the city and didn't even notify us. You know, everyone knows what we're going through. This is just unacceptable.
He co-authored that letter with Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White retiring after more than 20 years in office. White is stepping down as head of the state agency responsible for driver's licenses and motor vehicle registrations. Alexi Janulius will be sworn in today. White is Illinois' longest-serving Secretary of State, a position he has held since 1999. Illinois House Republican Jim Durkin is stepping down. In a letter to the clerk of the House, Durkin says he's resigning tomorrow after 22 years in the General Assembly. Blackhawks came up clutch in a 4-3 overtime win over Calgary at the UC. Big Ten hoops, Northwestern survives a late rally from number 19 Indiana for a win at Assembly Hall, 84-83. They host Rutgers on Wednesday. In Kapalua, John Rahm wins the Century, finishing on top of the leaderboard at 27 under par. The news, a service of Dan and Amy 24/7, around the clock, all day, every day. Dan and Amy 247.com. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager sees a mass exit.
California's delegation to the House, based on population, declined for the first time in California history. California was once identified with freedom. This was the place you went to be free. Now, thanks to the Democratic Party and the rest of the left, this is the place you flee to be free.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Charlie Kirk at 1 on AM 560. The Answer.
Democrats say that high inflation would go away after the Fed's rate hikes, but month after month, the numbers prove nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Meanwhile, Biden is still finding ways to print more dollars. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to take action to protect your savings from inflation. How? By diversifying your current retirement funds into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This 20-page guide will answer all your questions about using gold in your retirement account. This is the best way to stop your purchasing power from being stolen by Democrats like Joe Biden. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy, like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads now. We do that in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. We're starting out the morning with a problem on the outbound Kennedy. Big delays from the Tri-State out to Mannheim, 22 minutes out to the big airport this morning. Ike inbound, 25, 390 to the old post office. Stevenson, 22 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. I-57, due to an earlier stall, you've got a jam up between 119th and 103rd. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Clouds and sun for today, high 41. Cloudy tonight, low 33. And then partly sunny for tomorrow, the high 42. Clouds on Wednesday, the high 44. Stay up to date this winter. AccuWeather's Wintercast at AccuWeather.com. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Worried about basement flooding? It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. 25 at O'Hare, 27 Lakefront, 26 Midway, 22 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
This hourly segment is sponsored by NJ Diet. Lose 20 to 40 pounds in only 40 days. Call 855-NJ-DIET or NJDiet.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'll just have you know.
Yes. Oh, hello. Good morning.
I'll just have you know that I put off northern Wisconsin and the UP of Michigan in snowmobile racing because this is the big Eagle River weekend. I'm going up racing after the show today.
Yeah.
I put it off for 3 days just so I could see you. Your boss called me and he's like, Amy needs you. And I said,
I need you and I need you now.
Say
Isn't
no
there
more.
A song?
Say no more.
I need you now. Ray Stevens in for Dan Proft today. Thank you for coming in. Big day. You always come in when there's lots of news.
Can anybody really fill in for Dan? I mean, really?
Really? That's a good point.
It's a big shoes. He's a tall man.
All right. President Biden finally went to the border. Well, that was fast. Did anybody? Oh, wait. That's right. He kept reporters at arm's length. Right. You ready for this? He made an unannounced stop at the border, like the actual wall.
Yeah.
And then he casually walked over and saw some Border Patrol agents take a suitcase out of the trunk and inspect the suitcase.
Yeah.
Riveting. He didn't go to the second ward where all these people, and I mean, there is garbage everywhere, Ray.
Now, you're not talking about the second ward in Chicago.
No, second ward of El Paso, where all these migrants are camping out, living on the streets outside of this church. There is so much filth. Yeah. And one thing, you're going to come to this country. I'm sorry, I can't stand people who litter. I literally, it drives me bonkers.
Yeah.
And when I lived in El Paso and the Franklin Mountains somebody had dumped so much garbage. And I looked out at it every day. It made me sick. So I put up a sign saying, this Saturday, come and help us. And guess who showed up?
Nobody.
No, everybody from the Midwest.
Yeah.
I had, a lot of Warrant 1 and Warrant 2 officers from Fort Bliss were there with their wives and their kids. But it's all Midwestern. I'm like, hey, thanks for helping out. Where are you from? I'm from Wisconsin. I'm from Indiana. I'm from Iowa. It was all Midwesterns, and we got it cleaned up.
You know what I want to do?
But the garbage thing is
I do a cleanup every spring in the 15th with Lopez in Brighton Park in Inglewood. You're going to come do that with me this year.
I will do it, and I've got the gloves.
2 years ago. Oh yeah,
I've got industrial. None of this
No, you need real gloves. Picking up needles and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't want to get.
We were
stabbed.
there. We were there.
I'll get a tetanus shot too before.
2 years ago, we were there, and we weren't cleaning these lots for more than 5 minutes, and kindergarten or a first grade little girl found a 386 sour.
Really?
Yeah. I said, I'll take that.
Yeah. Thanks. Oh my God.
No, seriously, it was
All right,
something.
no, keep me in mind for that. All
I
right,
will.
so here's Biden's one comment.
Okay.
That they need a lot of resources, and we're going to get them for them.
We're going to get them for him.
I love that.
I love how he gets really loud.
I love that the other day when he referred to January 6th as July 6th.
Oh, yeah, that was on Friday. I couldn't watch it either. Okay, so when he landed in El Paso, Governor Abbott handed him a letter and basically ratted him out for his failure to endorse federal laws that have created chaos along the border since he took office.
The president who caused the chaos of the border needed to be here. It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
And as Abbott predicted, and as I predicted on the show, Biden saw a sanitized version of what's really going on in El Paso.
Urge him in the letter to see the real chaos.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636, then type in DA, then a quick comment. Also, Alejandro Mayorkas. Do you like how I said that? Homeland Security, he blames Republicans for the chaos along the border. Because that's the go-to. Yeah. That's the new boogeyman. Because we don't have Trump, and Elon Musk wasn't involved in the border. So, enemy number one is Trump. Enemy number two is Elon Musk. Enemy number three is the entire Republican Party.
We want individuals who qualify for relief under our laws to come to the United States in a safe and orderly way. And that is why we are building lawful pathways.
Yeah. So they're going to kick out 30,000 a month, but then let in 30,000 from Cuba, Nicaragua, some other country. If they take a background test or background check, and if they have family that's living in the United States.
I just, it's so simple that if you just follow the laws. I mean, we have borders. We have rules, we have laws. This country is awesome, and if you do it the right way, it will provide for you forever. But what we're trying to do now is unattainable. And isn't it funny that now after the elections that have since passed, that now all of a sudden it's like, well, you know what, maybe just maybe we'll keep that Title 42 in place. Right. And these borders are a mess because they know that they've got a S-storm on their hands. They just know.
And people
this is tenable.
And we're, busting at the seams, according to the mayor of New York. They're busting at the seams. We're busting at the seams here in Chicago. And the Mayor Adams and Mayor Lightfoot penned a letter to the governor of Colorado. How is he involved in all this?
You must stop busing migrants to Chicago and New York, the letter said. These actions do not live up to the values of the proclaimed welcoming state and should stop immediately. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second.
Because they're busing them to Denver. Then they're busting at the seams. So he's shipping them out to sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. Hey, Mayor Lightfoot, you signed up for this.
Right.
And right now she's at odds because, listen to this. This is one of those not in my neighborhood stories.
Right.
So in Woodlawn, and this is going to happen, by the way, whatever she's saying, there's an empty elementary school, Wadsworth, at 64th and University. And why not? There's showers there from the gym. There's classrooms that you put cots in. You've got a cafeteria. It's an empty building. Why not use it? Well, people in Woodlawn are like, no, we don't want that type here in our neighborhood.
Are very disappointed in this decision that Mayor Lightfoot has made to place these migrants in our community without our permission.
These people.
Mayor Lightfoot would never pull this type of thing in anyone's neighborhood. She would not drop off a busload of Haitians in Little Village. She would not drop off a busload of black people in Chinatown. She would not drop off a busload of black people up north. Never. So it's time for Mayor Lightfoot to understand we will no longer be disrespected by you, ma'am. Please withdraw your decision to put the migrants in our community.
And then they went on to say, there's room in Little Village for them. I'm like, can you imagine if there was a school on the north side that was predominantly in a white neighborhood and they got up there and said, oh, no.
Yeah.
Not in our neighborhood.
can't come here.
Well, here's their alderman, Jeanette Taylor, who explains further in detail why they can't have these people in their neighborhood.
You don't impose things on communities who are already disenfranchised. We're talking about a community where 1,000 folks have been displaced since I walked into office. And so you're not honestly thinking about what you're actually doing to them.
312-642-5600, turkey.pro answer line. The mayor's office responded, the city is continuing to engage, blah, 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 with Luna. At this time, the city has not determined a firm date on when this space will open for shelter. So this is going to happen. The people will need to realize that this is going to happen. And if they should be law-abiding citizens who are, the people that they interview coming off the buses are very appreciative to be here. Mm-hmm. And if they break the law, then they will hopefully, pay for it, right?
See, here's the thing, and I love this. They say Colorado and Denver, they're better equipped to do this because they deal with this more than we do. So it has the services and it provides better than Chicago can. But, we're, like you said earlier, we're a sanctuary city until these people.
People.
And those aren't my words. Those are the words from the clip we just played. We are just nothing more than virtue signaling. It's like these little signs we see on the back of the NFL player helmets. Stop hate. Really, what does that do? What does being a welcoming city do? It's just a bunch of crap.
Or at the back of the University of Iowa basketball players' shirts that say equity.
Yeah, equity.
Hashtag equity.
We all have equity. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
All right, Frank in Arlington Heights, you are on Chicago's Morning Answer. Good morning, Frank.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, sounds like Lightfoot might lose. Yeah. So, economic cataclysm, that's the only thing that's going to change all this virtue signaling. But my comment to you was on the songs that you were talking about, the little love fest you're having there. More Than Words Can Say, that was by Alias. I think that came out in 1990.
Okay.
And that the lead singer in that band, I forget his name, he was from Sheriff, which I think was one of the top 2 or 3 songs in all the 1980s, which was When I'm With You by Sheriff. That was a great song.
Oh, Sheriff. Yeah.
Listening to 97.1
The
Drive.
Hey, Frank, are you going back to school today? Is today your first day back? How you feeling?
Yeah. Good.
Excited?
Good. Yeah.
Did you take your COVID test so that you don't hurt the community?
No, we don't have to do that. We're good for now.
All right. Thanks.
Do you remember when B96? Do you remember when B96 was a good station?
Oh, I love
that. A long time ago, Frank.
That was the first thing the liberals destroyed was our radio stations that I kind of recall back in like 1990, 91. I'm like, what the hell happened to these radio stations?
Okay, wait. How did liberals destroy B96?
I don't know. Just the whole culture. I mean, I was just the whole. I mean, that was the first thing that kind of went. I mean, sports has changed.
Oh yeah.
Radio stations, music, movies, the attack on Christmas. I mean, the whole culture war. For me, at least, when I was growing up, the first thing that really got destroyed was the good radio stations. I remember when I was a little kid in the 80s, you could listen to Q101, you could listen to B96, Z95, I think it was, all playing good music. Then all of a sudden, a couple of them changed, and they were just horrifying music, stuff that I wouldn't listen to, not the good 80s pop stuff, songs like Alias and or More Than Words and When I'm With You by Sheriff and Madonna and Huey Lewis.
Just to be clear,
that Sheriff song.
Just to be clear,
Right,
Todd Kavanaugh ruined B96. That's just a fact. Okay. And if you want to listen to woke music, I agree with him on the music point because you look at what's gone on with country music. It's unbelievable. The number one song in country radio this week is by a guy named Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll,
and it's a bad knockoff on like a Matchbox 20 or a Chad Kroger song called I Only Talk to God When I Need a Favor. And this guy's his face is all tatted up. He's got all the nose rings and stuff. If I saw this guy, I don't want to be that guy, but if I saw this guy coming down the sidewalk, I might have to go to the other side of the street. His name's Jelly Roll, and I think his album.
Does he wear cowboy boots or a cowboy hat? Anything?
I don't know much about this guy. His album's called Son of a Sinner. And I thought, well, if we can have a hit with a guy like Jelly Roll, maybe I put together a new band called Entomins. I don't know, but
all right, thanks,
well,
Frank.
I think I'm gonna get on my playlist Alias and Sheriff on the way in.
Okay,
nonstop. You guys inspired me.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks. We have to get those songs. We have a lot of work now for Justin today. You've given him Jelly Roll. You've given him Sheriff.
Oh no, these guys played. Justin played Jelly Roll for me. I think when I was sitting in here when you guys.
Really?
When you guys were off.
So he's been on the
retreats.
number one hits for.
Yeah, he's
been on number one on the charts for a while.
Well, it takes. I think it takes about 32 weeks for a record to be a number one, and so it takes forever. But yeah, okay. Here, do yourself a favor. Get on the Google box, even if you're driving, and look up Jelly Roll. You guys, you will not be disappointed in how I describe this guy.
Okay, Ray.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Are you growing your manufacturing team this year and need new employees? Turn to Monarch Technical Services. They've been leading the Chicago staffing industry for manufacturing and engineering since 1987. You'll appreciate their vetting process. They meet every candidate in person to interview and test for specific skills. Monarch assesses experience by using blueprint, shop math, part measurement, and CNC program exams. Their quality skills assessor was once a plant manager who worked on manufacturing equipment, so he recognizes who has the skills to fit each job requirement. Monarch Technical now offers a 30-day free trial with any day one direct hire. This allows you to make sure direct hire employees are fitting in before fees are paid. And they have a unique payment option which allows the finder's fee to be paid in 6 equal monthly payments. So if you're growing your manufacturing team this year and searching for exceptional talent, contact Monarch Technical Services at 847-342-1221. That's 847-342-1221 or online at monarchtechnical.com. That's monarchtechnical.com. Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy. To get started on treatment, only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
2021 marked Chicago's deadliest year in a quarter century. Crimes and gang-related violence continue to increase year over year. We can stop this violent cycle by implementing trade schools for young adults, former inmates, and other Chicagoans to learn valuable skills, providing opportunity, education, and economic empowerment. Choose Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor so we can keep Chicago safe together.
I approve this message.
You're smart, you're busy, and don't have time to waste on the mainstream media cycle. Salem News Channel breaks that cycle. Topics that matter from hosts worth watching. Dinesh D'Souza, Andrew Wilkow, Brandon Tatum, and more. Open debate and free speech you won't find anywhere else. Salem News Channel, not like the other guys. Watch anytime on any screen, free 24/7. Find everything you need to know at snc.tv. That's snc.tv.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
AM 560, The Answer.
Jelly roll?
Yeah, jelly roll. Smash it or trash it. It's Amy J and Ray Ray here on ING playing the hits and the bits.
Well, when I grew up, I actually listened to WIND. It was this and WLS.
Yeah.
890.
Howard
We don't
Miller.
say those words. But no, because they were the rock and roll stations.
Right.
Remember?
Oh, yeah. It was IND. So you're not that old.
Oh, I'm that old. What about that? WIND, IND.
560 WIND.
That's when America was strong.
Oh.
When you only had AM radio and not
used
every
the bunny rabbit ears.
Yeah, not everybody had a
in.
platform. And you know why? You know why it was great then? Because not everybody should have a platform. Social media is ruining our lives.
And Amen, brother. Everybody is in their phone. Everybody. And they're talking to their friends that are sitting next to them through their phone. Put your phone down and talk to each other.
Some moron, some radio station the other day was talking about how many people are in your group chat. I'm like, I don't need a group chat. Yeah. You kidding me? What am I, 10?
If Justin wasn't here, I wouldn't know how to do anything on this phone. Remember when I came up to him like, what's an op? You mean an app?
Yeah. That Justin guy, when I filled in for you and Dan, he helped me get my va-va-voom back.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, it was cool.
Oh, so you're taking balance. Did you take my balance of
That's
nature?
how they pay me here.
They pay you with my balance of nature?
I got slippers from Mike Lindell and Balance of Nature, and I'm like, this is cool.
All right, today is the day. Hey, you and I, look what I got here.
Nice.
2 tickets for you and I to go to the inauguration, the swearing-in ceremony for Governor J.B. Pritzker. What kind of tone do you think he's going to take today? 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro, answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment. Because Governor Newsom, he was sworn in for a second time. No, actually, now it's a third time, right? Because he had that special runoff election.
Yeah.
And he was anything but gracious. He was a bit of a, can I say the word? Well, here he is.
They're promoting grievance and victimhood in an attempt to erase so much of the progress you and I have witnessed in our lifetimes. You know, in our finest hours, California has been, well, freedom's force multiplier, protecting liberty from a rising tide of oppression, taking root in state houses, weaknesses masquerading as strength, small men in big offices.
I mean, he is just repugnant.
The battle lines, they're drawn. And I'll say it once again, it is time for choosing.
So he's ripping on Governor DeSantis in the first comment about freedoms. And I think that he's upset because, wow, looky here, 334,000 people moved out of California, including his in-laws.
Yeah.
And his in-laws moved to Florida.
You know,
Florida.
It's ridiculous. I mean, that's a lot of people. 104,000 people, or 105.
141,000 in Illinois.
Where'd you get that number?
From Governor DeSantis's office.
Oh, because I was told it was 104 to 105 that left last year, but still, it's a big number, and people are leaving, and there's a reason, and they're, you know, if you drive down I-65 and you get to Louisville or you get to Nashville, you will not believe the change to the building skylines because people are just they're invading it,
right?
And all the people ask that are out in Montana or Kentucky or Tennessee is don't bring your voting ways with you. We'll take you.
I know.
Just don't bring your
don't
crap
California
ways with
my
you.
Utah,
Yeah,
and then
right.
they signed don't California my Arizona, which that's already taken place. So here's Governor Newsom because he had to bring up the second anniversary of July 6th because his inauguration was Friday, January 6th.
January 6th.
I'm sorry, I just had a Biden.
You're losing it, Biden.
The ugliness that overflowed on January 6, 2021, we know this, was in fact decades in the making, fomented by people who have a very different vision of America's future. Very different. Red state politicians and the media empire behind them selling regression as progress, oppression as freedom. And as we all know too well, there's nothing original about their demagoguery.
And if you watched his hand gestures, I mean, it was repugnant. But don't forget, remember when all those people were moving out during COVID? He aired a commercial in Florida that aired in Florida.
Right.
Here it is. This is great. Just to remind you people of what this man is capable of.
It's Independence Day, so let's talk about what's going on in America. Freedom, it's under attack in your state. Your Republican leaders, they're banning books, making it harder to vote, restricting speech in classrooms, even criminalizing women and doctors. I urge all of you living in Florida to join the fight, or join us in California, where we still believe in freedom. Freedom of speech, freedom to choose, freedom from hate, and the freedom to love. Don't let them take your freedom.
Paid for by Newsom for California Governor 2022.
I mean, what a pompous piece of you-know-what to even air. Please. I would love to see a debate or a town hall between DeSantis and Newsom because it looks like Biden might run again. If Biden doesn't, Newsom's definitely in. But can you imagine that debate?
Oh, you know what?
DeSantis would destroy him.
I think people, especially, and I like the Donnie, but I think people highly still underestimate Governor DeSantis. He has everything optically that both sides, and your fringe can come over and say, all right, that's my guy right there. He has it all in his court.
His inauguration speech compared to DeSantis's. DeSantis is like, this is what we accomplished. We're a free state. This is what we're going to be doing in the future. Right. Where Newsom was angry. And I think that's what we're going to see today with Governor Pritzker. He's going to rip on former President Trump. He's going to rip on Republicans. It's not going to be an inclusive, because I'm going to watch just to see what he says. And
I thought we were going to go.
Oh, that's right, because I have 2 tickets here. Oh, we guess what we enter?
Would they let you in there? I mean, the governor hates you.
It's fine. We enter the seating in the baby blue section. Okay, that's what it says on our tickets here.
Nice.
So doors open at 9:30. At 11:30, the event starts, and then afterwards, we can go to the Illinois State Fairground for the inauguration celebration.
And that's where Dan is this morning, right?
Right,
Getting ready to do the show, and so you get Why is
and Mayor
Dan
Lightfoot? By the way, Mayor Lightfoot. She's invited.
Dan Proft is at the inauguration for Governor Pritzker. Why?
No, he's not. But yeah, Mayor Lightfoot's going to be attending the swearing in and probably begging for his endorsement, don't you think?
Talking about her mom and how much her mom influenced her career. I want to know when the Lightfoot campaign commercial comes out talking about her big unit.
Oh, all right. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, some people should just not open their mouths. We'll explain. But now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
The estimated number, Amy, by Illinois policy is 104,437 Illinois residents, but that's only an estimate based on census numbers. The final numbers are not anywhere close to being.
Yeah, DeSantis' office put out 1,041,656.
That seems like a high number, but it seems closer to 104.
Maybe they know something. I mean, I know 3 people. Even Dan, who would come in every day. He's in Florida.
I'm going to Wisconsin today, so count me in.
Okay. Had another one.
104,438, according to Ray. Pockets of locally dense fog and potentially slick surfaces this morning. With the newly elected House Speaker Kevin McCarthy at the helm, the House will vote on a rules package to set the procedures for the 118th Congress today. Florida Representative Corey Mills says the rules package, although some changes may be in it, likely will go uncontested. Others, though, are expected to cause a little bit of disagreement over defense cuts and procedures on government funding. Officials in Brazil say about 400 have been arrested connected with the weekend storming of government buildings there. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says he's excited for the president to see the work of the Border Protection Agency at the southern border.
We are going to be opening up a new soft-sided facility that will be able to process up to 1,000 migrants a day.
Mayorkas met with reporters as the president visited the border on the way to a summit in Mexico City. 7,000 nurses at 2 New York City hospitals are on strike. Others are back on the job. Nurses say they're fighting for better pay and better staffing. Officials in California warning residents of another round of severe flooding weather.
We're anticipating some very intense weather coming in, and that's the imperative that we're trying to express here is the seriousness of purpose in terms of just being safe and being thoughtful.
Here in Chicago, 5 are hurt following a crash on the north side last night in the 1900 block of West 2E2 in critical condition. An investigation continues after a body was found in Lake Michigan in the first block of DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Now, the body's not been identified, and investigators have not released whether foul play is suspected. An investigation continues after a woman was found shot to death in a vehicle containing a young child in Joliet. Officers located Maya Smith dead in the front seat of that vehicle, a 2-year-old girl unharmed in the back seat, transported to a local hospital for a precautionary evaluation. A measure that would require Illinois schools to follow a national model for teaching sex ed has advanced out of a Senate committee. School districts have been given the choice to opt out, and an overwhelming majority chose to do so this year. The bill's sponsor wants everyone in.
All Illinois public school students need and deserve age-appropriate, medically accurate, and inclusive instruction that will affirm them and help them to be safe and healthy.
Ram Villivalum. However, State Senator Stu Rezin says the fact that districts and parents have rejected outright that curriculum should send a strong message to everyone.
The standards went too far, and that's why we are seeing tremendous pushback by the school districts and their school boards, and we believe in local control.
Only 25 schools, including CPS, have adopted some or all of those standards. 548 have opted out. Bears on the clock following a loss to the Vikings at Soldier Field, 29-13. They'll have the number one pick in the NFL draft. Blackhawks came up clutch in a 4-3 overtime win over Calgary. Max Domi, the game winner. Speaking of clutch in Big Ten hoops, Northwestern survives a late rally from number 19 Indiana in an 84-83 victory at Assembly Hall. They host Rutgers on Wednesday. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says we're jumping to conclusions again.
And right away, people were taking to social media, people are dying suddenly, don't get the vaccine. They immediately linked this cardiac event to a vaccine, the COVID vaccine, without one shred of evidence that was the case.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hello, I'm Garrett Hawkins, a family farmer raising corn and soybeans in Monroe County, Illinois. It might be hard to believe, but 96% of the farms in Illinois are owned and operated by family farmers just like me. Our job is to grow the healthiest, most affordable food around to feed my family and yours. Meet more farmers just like me at www.watchusgrow.org/corn.
A message from the Illinois Corn Marketing Board.
Hello, I'm Donna Jeske.
And I'm Paul Jeske.
We're family farmers raising corn and soybeans in Grundy County, Illinois.
It might be hard to believe, but 96% of the farms in Illinois are owned and operated by family farmers just like us.
Our job is to grow the healthiest, most affordable food around to feed our family and yours.
Meet more farmers like us at www.watchusgrow.org/corn.
A message from the Illinois Corn Marketing Board.
Hi, it's Amy, and MyPillow is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Folks, they look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. So trust me, these sheets are ridiculously comfy. Rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get duvets, quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. MyPillow is also extending their money-back guarantee until March. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use promo code Amy, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including those amazing Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98 while quantities last. And don't forget to use promo code Amy for the best possible discounts available.
640 on AM 560, The Answer. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, Gurnee, 41 northbound from Stern School Road to Hanson closed due to a head-on collision being cleared. An accident in Wilmington, Lorenzo Road in Cottage Grove. Wadsworth, an accident, Dilly's Road, just after Wadsworth this morning. Tri-State jamming up northbound between the Reagan, I-88, and the outbound Eisenhower merge. I-57, an earlier stall, being swept out of your way inbound between 127th and 103rd. Dan Ryan in 16 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike inbound jamming up Manheim to Des Plaines Avenue. Traffic, a service of Discover. You can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards, and terms apply. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast, clouds and sun, 41 for a high today. Right now, 25. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy. Continue next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, and Amy Jacobson here. Ramblin' Ray Stevens in for Dan Proft today. Thanks for coming in.
If you're in West Chicago, you can just call me Stayskull, my real name.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you get your name, Ramblin' Ray, by the way?
There was
Somebody had just texted into the show and asked.
There was a traffic guy by the name of Joe Collins, and I was working on a morning show. It's doing suburban radio here, and I was the goof around guy. And there was a big snowstorm, and I went out to a job site, and I bet somebody working construction that they wouldn't sawzall a porta potty in half and use it as a toboggan. So they did. They sawed a porta potty in half, and and we're just doing all this stupid stuff, wreaking havoc on the suburbs. And the traffic guy, Joe Collins, said, "Man, that guy gets around. He's just a rambling guy," and boom, it's stuck.
Oh, and then it's stuck. All right. Well, thanks for being here, and thanks for filling in during Christmas.
You're
Christmas
welcome.
break.
I had nothing else to do. You know, I'm a foster fill-in. Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I'm a foster
fill-in. You go to station to station.
That's how my broad. I thought while I was driving in here, this is how my broadcast career started, and this is how it's going to end.
Stop it. All right, well, we're glad that you're here. And
Thank
I
you.
know that you've been watching The Crown because you have to.
Yeah. My girl, you follow me on social media. I'm telling you, guys, you will not be disappointed when you see my beautiful girlfriend. And she makes me watch all this drivel. Although she is, trust me when I tell you, you guys would love her. She's hardcore right. I call her Little Laura Ingram. So Little Laura makes me watch Emily in Paris. And then
I haven't watched that yet.
Then we have to watch The Crown. And I'm like, you know how this ends, right? I go,
Hey, don't tell people.
You know how? No, I think we know how it ends.
Yes. Well, there's a beginning now with Harry and Meghan. They did this Netflix series. Have you been forced to watch that?
She's watched it, and she's become very sympathetic to those two.
See, I have become the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I've become unsympathetic to those two because I feel like they're too privileged. They're whining constantly. In every episode, it's whining. Yes, they've had threats. I get that. But now Harry's coming out with this new book that was accidentally released in Spain last week, so people know what it is. And he's making the rounds on TV. And last night, speaking with Anderson Cooper on 60 Minutes. And first, he talked about Camilla. He and his brother really did not like Camilla.
She was the villain. She was the third person in the marriage. She needed to rehabilitate her image.
You and your brother both directly asked your dad not to marry Camilla.
Yes.
Why?
Because she's gross.
We didn't think it was necessary. We thought that it was going to cause more harm than good. And that if he was now with his person, that surely that's enough. Why go that far when you don't necessarily need to? We wanted him to be happy, and we saw how happy he was with her. So at the time, it was okay.
You wrote that she started a campaign in the British press to pave the way for a marriage, and you wrote, "I even wanted Camilla to be happy. Maybe she'd be less dangerous if she was happy."
Mm-hmm.
How was she dangerous?
Because of the need for her to rehabilitate her image.
That made her dangerous.
That made her dangerous because of the connections that she was forging within the British press. And there was open willingness on both sides to trade of information. And with a family built on hierarchy, and with her on the way to being Queen Consort, there was going to be people or bodies left in the street because of that.
And then he also, this is the sad part, he kept thinking when he was a kid, because he was 12 years old when his mom died, he thought that she was still alive.
You didn't believe she was dead?
For a long time. I just refused to accept that she was gone. Part of, she would never do this to us, but also part of, maybe this is all part of a plan.
I mean, you really believe that maybe she had just decided to disappear for a time?
For a time, and then that she would call us and we would go and join her.
How long did you believe that?
Years. Many, many years. And William and I talked about it as well. He had similar thoughts.
You write in the book, you say, "I'd often say it to myself first thing in the morning, maybe this is the day. Mm-hmm. Maybe this is the day that she's going to reappear."
Yeah, hope. I had huge amounts of hope.
He held on to.
With more on this, let's welcome back to the program Dominic Green. He's a columnist for the Washington Examiner, contributor to the Wall Street Journal, and fellow at the Royal Historical Society. And he has a recent column out with the New York Post titled Prince Harry wrote a bitter revenge memoir, but he's only stabbed himself. Good morning, Dominic. How are you?
Hello, Amy. Hello, Ray. I'm very good, thanks.
All right. So did you get through the book in Spanish yet?
Well, my Spanish is not that good, but I was given a secret smuggled copy of a partial English translation because all the papers sent people over to Spain to get copies as soon as the news broke. And so I've been working from that. And my immediate response was, why on earth is he doing this? It's completely crazy to put the worst aspects of yourself on public display. And this seems to be what's happened in the book. And it's obviously what happened last night in the broadcast. And it's what happened as well in the Netflix series. It seems to be just a sort of downward slide of embarrassing revelations. And the more we know about Harry, the less most people seem to like him.
Well, do you think his wife is forcing him to do this? Because I knew as soon as they announced their engagement, I knew that they were going to be moving back to California. I just knew that she would take him out of his environment, create some drama, and then, force him to, it's either me or the life that you once had here.
I think that it's becoming clear that they are very compatible in this, in that he really feels on some level, as he admits it, that he should have been born first, that all the freebies that you get if you're the heir should be yours if you're the spare. But it doesn't work like that. I mean, that's the nature of the business. And so we have this spectacle of this 38-year-old man-child complaining that he was born in the wrong order and therefore doesn't have huge privilege as opposed to massive privilege. Because let's face it, you're not going to win people's sympathy when you say, my part of the suite at Balmoral Castle was smaller than his. Or no one minded which private jet I flew in. Really, which is some of the complaints are on that level, which suggest a real lack of perspective. And the thing is, people do often denounce their parents as teenagers, perhaps, and they do it to their friends. They don't do it as fully grown adults, married with children, to the world's media. And yes, I think Meghan encourages it and benefits hugely from it, but he has dug his own grave with this, and he is still digging himself in deeper and deeper.
I mean, tonight he's going to be on Stephen Colbert. Dear Lord, don't prostitute yourself out like that. I mean,
well, that's not going to be scripted either. And no one has ever suggested that he was too clever. He's not very good on his feet. And if you watch where he's talking in these interviews, this is the edited highlights we're seeing, and these are often pre-approved questions and so on. What he'll say when he goes rogue and has to improvise, who knows? One of the things that comes across very clearly is that he is a damaged person. He suffered the most terrible loss in full public view at a very young age. And I think he has a point when he says that he didn't receive, the support that might have helped him deal with it, or at least acknowledge that Diana was gone, which he seems to have struggled to admit. It's very true. And in England in that time, nobody, went to therapy and so on. So he's got a point when he says that, because he probably was not cared for as well as he could have been. On the other hand, there's no doubt, and he admits this too, that Charles, in his limited, repressed way, did his best. So, again, this is an ordinary tragedy in some way. These things do happen to millions of people, and these sadnesses and disappointments and sufferings that come with it are part of it. It's the temptation to magically create a new life for yourself by inventing a story for the media that is consuming Harry. And I think, as I said, he has a very strong drive to do this because he is, after all, Diana's son.
Our guest is Dominic Green. He is with the Washington Examiner with Dan and Amy. I have to ask you, can you draw a comparison to maybe the way Prince Harry acts and the way Prince Charles acted? Because it certainly seems that Prince Charles, he wasn't moving up quick enough. There's some thought to the process that he was tired of being, waiting. And now Harry seems to be kind of the same mind. Is there any kind of a comparison you can make between the two of them in that regard?
I think that's exactly it. I mean, speaking as somebody who has extended his adolescence by several decades, I can understand the appeal of it, and I can understand the frustrations of it. But again, a few hundred years ago, the turnover was much faster. Monarchs led armies in battle, they drank bad water, they got basic diseases, and they died, and they didn't last very long. We have a situation now where, the late Queen was well into her 90s. Charles is extremely, diet conscious and careful, and is determined also to make similar old bones. So it's possible that William, who's now 40-ish, won't be king himself until he's approaching 70. And his child, in turn, will be, into his 50s or something by the time he's looking at it. So, yes, it's because we live for long and because the royals are treated like show ponies, and fed on all the best stuff, that they do live a very, very long time. And so this frustration, which is built into the system, becomes, unnaturally extended and intolerable, especially if you're the spare. And then, if you're in Harry's position, at one point, you're second in line, third in line, and then suddenly your brother has children. He's now down to fifth or sixth or something.
He's out.
And he will keep sliding down the rankings.
Right. So there was one part of the book, and sometimes people need to keep their mouth shut. There was a part of the book where he talks about he got into a physical altercation with his brother, William. And I don't know if you've read that part, but there's an excerpt saying that William called Meghan difficult, rude, and abrasive, which Harry calls, I don't know what happened. Something happened. Then there was a confrontation. Harry writes, until William grabbed me by the collar, ripped my necklace, and knocked me to the floor. Do you actually think that happened?
Yeah, I believe it. I just want to say for the record that when my brother and I brawled, neither of us was wearing a necklace. And neither of us ended up on our backs on the kitchen floor in the dog food. Because he says that, he fell on the dog bowl. And obviously, the dog bowl is presumably some piece of rare china. It's not like a metal dog bowl, right? He falls on the dog bowl and is sort of wounded by it. He's injured in the back. The dog food doesn't break his fall, and he gets like a scrape through his shirt. And he doesn't say anything, and then Meghan notices it, and he confesses that, yes, I was beaten up by William. And of course, most people will sympathize with William in this situation, especially because the actual story, the full story is that William asks Harry for a meeting to discuss this. And Harry sulks and doesn't respond. So William has to go around the corner from his palace to Harry's. And then they have this fight. So everyone will recognize this kind of scenario when you're dealing with someone who's being passive-aggressive and has got a nightmare spouse on the way. And unfortunately, again, it's a royal family, it's a big business, it's the national interest. So you've got to say things like, are you sure this is wise? Why not take it slower? And that, of course, is a red rag to the bull. And Harry's short-tempered, and Farrelly William is as well, and on we go. But would you put it in a book? I mean, probably not, would you?
And then also, too, they said that Kate and William talked him into wearing that Nazi costume. Remember that in 2005?
Yeah.
Why would he even think that that's an appropriate costume to wear? What's wrong with him?
Well, that's the thing. Who would do that? And the answer is an idiot. And yes, they probably thought, very funny. But they didn't tell him, now make yourself a Nazi armband. Because he actually made himself one as well. He really put some effort into the project.
I'd love to see these two kids fighting. This would be great.
They actually, siblings do fight, though.
I know, but these two, I can just see them like swatting at each other.
I know. It sounds
slapping.
like William grabbed him and was like, "Urgh."
Yeah, no.
I think the right way to do it is a tournament.
Yeah, put them in a cage. Put them in a cage.
Yeah.
Two come in, one leaves.
Yeah.
All right,
Fight
Dominic
to the
Green,
death.
we're going to have to leave it there for today. But thank you so much always for coming on the show. And you could read his article at the New York Post. And he's also a columnist for the Washington Examiner, and contributor to the Wall Street Journal. Thank you, Dominic, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, because we know that this interview would not happen if Dan Proft were here. And Dominic joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Some people got COVID and thought, well, that wasn't such a big deal. But you can get COVID again, and next time it could be worse, especially for those 50 and older, or with a chronic condition like heart disease or diabetes. But with an updated vaccine, you have better protection from COVID's worst outcomes. And that's a big deal. Find updated COVID vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
If I could be you.
And you could be me.
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
All right. Have you been feeling the sting of cold floors when you step off the couch or out of bed? Have you?
No, because Gina got me slippers for.
My pillow slippers.
I'm like, I don't wear slippers.
Oh no, slippers are cool now. Everybody wears slippers.
Dude,
I got my
dudes
kids.
Don't wear slippers.
Dudes, I got my kids my pillow slippers. Sorry, I know this is a Permaseal live read, but they wear them all the time. They're beautiful. They can wear them outdoors, indoors. They're cool. They're the loafers, suede. Beige loafers. Have you seen those? Everyone's wearing those.
I'm not a royal.
If you want to be a hip, cool kid, like a high schooler,
yeah,
get some slippers.
That's what I want.
All right, back to Permaseal. From now until the end of this month, receive 20% off your crawl space encapsulation system with PermaFoam. PermaFoam will help get rid of those cold floors that sting your feet when you step off your couch or bed. And untreated crawl space can rot your floor joists, breed mold, and increase your energy costs. For over 40 years, Roy Spencer and his team have helped 500,000 Chicagoland homeowners make their home healthier and more valuable. And be sure to check out their awesome review with Google and the Better Business Bureau. Schedule your free inspection and take advantage of the Permaseal promotion, 20% off any new estimate for crawl space encapsulation with PermaFoam. 800-421-SEAL, 800-421-7325, or visit permaseal.net.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-333-1750. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer. News, opinion, insight. This is AM 560, The Answer. WIND Chicago. Streaming at 560theanswer.com. On the AM 560 mobile app. Tune in, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
President Biden is now south of the border. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, in Mexico for a two-day summit with the Mexican and Canadian leaders. After his first trip to the border amid a record surge of illegal crossings, the president went to El Paso, where this protester says,
"It's a photo op. They cleaned up the streets. They're going to show them clean, not like they looked normally, with thousands of immigrants."
Just ahead of the president's visit, streets in downtown El Paso had been cleared of migrants who had been forced to camp out there due to overcrowding in processing centers. According to Border Patrol officials, this sweep happened before the president's visit was announced.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff.
Over about 4 hours, the president walked a portion of the U.S.-Mexico border and stopped at a port of entry. But Texas Governor Greg Abbott pointed out in a letter handed to the president that the true crisis is playing out elsewhere, writing, quote, "Your visit avoids the sites where mass illegal immigration occurs and sidesteps the thousands of angry Texas property owners."
A terror trial starts today in New York City. Saifulo Saipov could get the death penalty if convicted of driving a truck down a bike path, killing 8 people on Halloween 2017. Now the days-long House Speaker drama's over. The House gets to work today with Kevin McCarthy presiding as Speaker. And first up, they need to approve new rules. Majority Whip Tom Emmer just told Fox.
Literally are the rules that our conference voted on after the election, with one exception, and that is the motion to vacate,
which conservatives demanded be changed to allow just one House member to call for a vote to try to oust the speaker. Other Republicans like Tony Gonzalez are concerned about one rule's provision.
This has a proposed billions of dollar cut to defense, which I think is a horrible idea.
Emmer says they'll only cut waste out of spending. A big change at tennis's Australian Open. Players will not be tested for COVID and could still compete even if they have the virus when the Grand Slam tournament starts next Monday. A year ago, star player Novak Djokovic, who's there this year, was kicked out of Australia, not allowed to play for not getting a vaccine. America's
25 degrees at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A warning from the National Weather Service about locally dense fog and potentially slick surfaces on the roads this morning. 5 are hurt following a crash on Chicago's north side. It happened last night in the 1900 block of West Toohey. 2 of the victims are in critical condition. An investigation is underway after a body was found in Lake Michigan. Police say that the discovery was made yesterday in the first block of North DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The body has not been identified. Vikings lock up the number 3 seed in the NFC with a 29-13 win over the Bears. In Week 18 action at Soldier Field, Bears end the year at 3-14, but with the number 1 draft pick overall. Governor J.B. Pritzker will take the oath of office for his second term as governor of Illinois today, but now that the Illinois Supreme Court has said it plans to hear arguments in March in the legal battle over the ending of cash bail, the future House Minority Leader says it's pretty cut and dry. The governor may lose. Here's AM 560's Kevin Bessler in Springfield.
Hold on the cashless bail portion of the Safety Act until it held hearings on the matter. Governor J.B. Pritzker said he has faith in the Illinois Supreme Court.
Those of us who believe in this know that there's even more work to do, but I am comfortable and confident that this is constitutional.
State Representative Tony McCombie, who will become House Minority Leader January 11th, says she would like to see changes to the Safety Act, but as for eliminating cash bail?
Definitely the PFA, the no cash bail. In my opinion, there's nothing to negotiate there. That's in the Constitution, and that is what it is.
Various briefs in the case, filed by both states' attorneys who filed suit and the state, will be due in the weeks leading up to the March hearings. I'm Kevin Bessler.
The pay raise plan that gives Illinois lawmakers an 18% annual salary hike, passed in the waning hours of the lame duck session, began in the governor's office, where he sought raises as well for cabinet members, resulting in dramatically increased pay for 21 agency directors. Republican Representative Mark Batnett spoke in opposition.
On a Friday night, the audacity of what we're doing. Pay increase, Christmas in January for legislators.
Illinois House Republican Jim Durkin has announced this morning he's stepping down. In a letter to the clerk of the House, Durkin says he's resigning tomorrow after 22 years in Springfield. Blackhawks 4-3 overtime winners over Calgary. Big Ten hoops. Northwestern survives a late rally from number 19 Indiana in an 84-83 victory at Assembly Hall. The news, a service of Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today. And a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Charlie Kirk explains the consequences.
You are now seeing several uniparty candidates say, I'm going to go caucus with Democrats. By having a uniparty, it would basically effectively destroy the United States House of Representatives being in the Republican direction.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 1, right before Sebastian Gorka at 3 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who participated in our Food for the Poor campaign. Because of your generosity, guess what? We're able to feed 5,000 kids and counting in Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, these are children and families that simply would not have food without your generous donations. But just because the holiday season is over, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. So if you haven't already, you can still make a donation by visiting 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor. And listen up, if you're a business owner, let's do that business benefactor program. What it is a one-time donation of $2,500, and we will give you 41-minute commercials. It's the best way to elevate your business. It is the best deal in all of Chicagoland radio. Here's what you do. Call Anjanette Natowski. Her number is 847-472-8951. That's 847-472-8951. Or visit 560theanswer.com/food for the poor.
Democrats say that high inflation would go away after the Fed's rate hikes, but month after month, the numbers prove nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Meanwhile, Biden is still finding ways to print more dollars. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to take action to protect your savings from inflation. How? By diversifying your current retirement funds into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This 20-page guide will answer all your questions about using gold in your retirement account. This is the best way to stop your purchasing power from being stolen by Democrats like Joe Biden. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, vroom, vroom when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately. And I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
7:08. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is the service of Tim Stearns and Protect and Grow with Tim Stearns. Saturdays at noon, weekly discussions to a secure retirement. Inbound Eden, 17 minutes, Lake Cook Road into the junction. Kennedy inbound 26, O'Hare into the Burns Circle interchange. Ike inbound 35, 390 to the old post office. Stevenson, 33 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Stop and go traffic on the outbound side of the Stevenson between Route 83 and Cass due to a bad accident there. I-57 jamming up into the Ryan Merge, and the Tri-State slow this morning. Northbound right at the Reagan Memorial, I-88. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Today, times of clouds and sun are high 41. It'll be cloudy tonight, low 33. Partly sunny for tomorrow, the high 42. Clouds Wednesday, the high 44. Plan with confidence. Check out AccuWeather.com today. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
25 and partly cloudy at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Cabeno's Environmental Response Team. Find them online at cabenoenvironmental.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Unbelievable. A bombshell of a story, and I don't say that often, was delivered on Friday morning in the wee hours, and thank goodness for Chicago City Wire. It was a ghastly report about Chicago public school teachers and their vendors and substitute teachers, but close to 600 adult on-student misconduct allegations filed in the year 2021-22. Did the Tribune cover it? No. Did the Sun-Times cover it? Ray Stevens, nope. Did you hear about it?
Now you
on local media, Channel 9, 5, did
None.
anybody cover it?
Radio silence.
Except us here at AM 560, The Answer. It reads like a horror novel. These are children. A CPS employee asked a fourth grade student why her lips were chapped, and then stated that the student's lips were chapped because she was blanking blank. Something very inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Another asked a young student to recruit another student for a threesome and told her that he loved her, repeatedly attempted to kiss her, asked her to make out with him, commented on the student's hickey, and described himself to the student as well hung. Don't laugh. Don't you dare laugh, Ray. Not funny.
Where have we gone in this frickin' world of ours?
But
man?
Instead of focusing on this, or I'm getting information because all of these teachers, there's 600, and they found that half were legit. 16 criminal charges have been filed.
Where does this get covered up?
But here's the thing: even with the 16, where are their names? What schools do they go to? I'm talking as a CPS parent now. I want to know: is it a gym teacher took? One gym teacher exchanged 4,000 text messages with a female student, including 400 in one day. In them, the teacher told the student he was bisexual and that he was in an open marriage and attracted to other people. The same teacher asked another student to show him her underwear. And while they're talking in his office, asked if she wanted to take her clothes off.
Did you?
Okay, who are these people and where do they work? But instead, guess what I got emails on? Today's the first day of school.
Yeah.
You better get your COVID test.
Wear your mask.
For the better good of society. If you care about your community,
I give you
have
props.
your son tested before he goes back to school today. Well, plumb, dumb. I forgot. And he's going to be there in 45 minutes. Should I hold him back?
I give you props on sending your kid to CPS because I would never, ever do that.
Well,
ever.
I love their school. I do. And I love it so much. I work there too.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Which is another, it's a whole other thing. But I love their teachers. I love the security guards. I know that those security guards would take a bullet for my children. And not my children, everybody in that school.
When you were in school, was there any rumblings of anything that was inappropriate between students and students and teachers at all?
Well, you always had that one creepy teacher.
Yeah.
Didn't you?
Don't
you?
Yeah,
You
no,
had
I had
that
more than one. Yeah. I mean, I knew stuff was going on. I mean, I'd go to high school parties, and sometimes the teachers would be there.
Oh, we didn't have that problem.
Yeah,
but
I'm like,
did
dude,
you really?
I'm like, one of my teachers, and I'm not going to.
What was the drinking age 18 back then?
For us, it was 14. But I'm thinking, I'm trying to ask this girl to homecoming, but I can't go with her because she's hanging out with the health teacher.
I know.
But this is next level stuff. This is disgusting.
And, as parents, we should have a right to know.
I'm telling you, you know what? Get involved. Go to your school board meetings. Find out what's going on in your district.
Or call your school and say, hey, did any of this happen? I mean, I know there's tens of thousands of teachers, but 600 inappropriate allegations, and some are so gross. One CPS teacher had sex with a student, this is a middle school, in her bedroom. Now, how does that happen?
How do you skate by with that?
That a CPS teacher ends up in your daughter's bedroom having sex.
Well, it's the degradation of the family unit. Nobody's home. Nobody knows what's going on.
I mean, people, and then I put this out on Twitter, and it's, it was CTU involved in this cover-up. How long has it been going on?
Well, it would have had to be almost.
CTU lobbying, to get Chicago police out of schools.
How does it
If
stay
Chicago
quiet?
police were in schools, would this have happened? With more on this, let's welcome back to the program Frank McCormick, teacher, historian, writer of chalkboardheresy.com. He was in the Waukegan Public Schools, and he was a whistleblower, and now he's out of a job.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
So before we get into this story, just tell the backstory of you becoming a whistleblower and what happened.
Sure. I about summer of 2021 began just writing about my kind of experiences in the public education system. And back then I was particularly focused kind of on the ideological agendas I saw were being pushed in our schools, and eventually kind of got into a pretty heated public battle with my school district over what was going on and how I felt about it and how the response was. And now I'm out of it though. I'm involved with, I'm leading a group called Parents Care in Lake Forest, and we're kind of focusing on increasing transparency and accountability in our school districts. And, on Twitter, I maintain kind of a presence on there, and this was one of the stories I, saw it pop up, and I shared a link about it, and it got, 500,000 views in 24 hours. And I think a lot of people were feeling the same as we are, like, why is this not being reported? I mean, and what is going on in our public schools? And it's been
but
pretty
if this
shocking.
happened in Catholic schools, this would be headline news. This would be in the A block on every single TV station. But since it's Chicago Public Schools, are we trying to help the mayor here because there's an election next month, or are we CTU because for some reason? I even asked my neighbors, like, did you know about this? I was at church. I'm like, do you know about this? They're like, no, that can't be true. No, give me that. No. And they're reading this, horror novel, and nobody pipes up. What are they afraid of? Why do the unions have more power than parents?
I mean, it's a good question. I think it's part of this overall larger culture of adults really just protecting their own interests, protecting a system that gives them a paycheck. And that's what I kind of observed during my time in public education, is that really the kind of first goal of everyone in these systems is to protect the system that feeds them. And so, even there were teachers I was talking to about this, and they're saying, it's not higher than other percentages and other industries. I'm like, what? Like, that's your response to this? And they're like, and we don't know if all of them were, how many of them can you really believe? And I'm like, this is, the attempts to minimize it. And this is coming from a profession, by the way, that is so socially liberal and so on the social justice train with other things. I mean, like you said, if this was, the Catholic Church or you look at how, I was thinking how teachers respond. There's an incident, there's one incident involving a police shooting, and the next day they're all in their classrooms talking about it. We need to talk about this with our students and help them process it. We need to make this an issue. How many teachers do you think were talking about this with their students in class?
Yeah, zero. None. Big none.
Here's the case. The OAG found that a CPS junior ROT staff member had sex with a female CPS high school student over the course of a year. He provided her with alcohol and asked her to buy marijuana for her and fellow students. An investigation revealed hundreds of text messages and calls between the staff member and the student, including overtly sexual ones. Quote, "I'm ready to blank right now, and I'm not going to be gentle either," the staff member texted to the high school student. He later threatened to kill the student and her family if she disclosed the relationship to investigators. So who is this monster? Why don't we have his name, and why don't we know where he works?
Well, even when you do, we had, there was a teacher at our school at Waukegan Public Schools, and everyone knew that he was weird around girls. People had reported it. It was ignored. Oh, we talked to him. He's working on it. And when it finally broke the news, and there were like 50, 60 students that came forward, the union tried to get him his job back.
What?
Unapologetically. We had about, I think there was, about 50, 60 female students, because he was track coach. They came forward. They told, long history.
I know who you're
Teachers came forward, and yep, what I'm talking about. And the union, and I remember being in the room as union vice president at the time. Said, well, this isn't what you think. I'm like, oh. So I said, so, you're just he's gonna come back here? Well, it's, there's a lot more to the story.
And where is he now?
I don't know. He was actually involved at he was in the education department at like his local temple. So I think a lot of times these people gravitate towards these positions where they have access to children. And, that needs to be part of the conversation too, because, you do bring into education a lot of people with really good intentions. And I think you also attract people that see it as an opportunity.
But how does this stay quiet? I mean, in the day and age of social media and every channel we have to get people out there, and with kids not being, CPS kids especially, not being shy against this kind of thing, how does this get swept under the rug? It's amazing.
I think I ask myself this a lot with you find this with every issue in public education. It's like we've kind of acquiesced to just expect this. People are just, no one's surprised anymore. And it gets away with that. And I think it's, I don't know. I was asking myself, if this isn't an indictment of the system, and if this isn't enough to wake people up, we're in trouble.
And somebody texted in, they should wear body cameras all day and have 4 different oversight agencies critiquing and recommending discipline. They should, because I'll tell you a story. So the OIG, which is investigating these cases of grooming, overly sexual text messages, the same OIG was investigating our show because some leftist who doesn't even live in Chicago, doesn't even send her kids to Chicago public schools, listened to our show. And Ray, you were filling in.
Oh, great! I'm filling in. I'm getting targeted.
About what was going on at the Downers Grove Library.
Right, the dancing.
The drag queen bingo.
Yeah.
So we played sound bites from pro parents. We covered the story.
Mm-hmm.
We played the audio from the librarian. We played the audio from parents who were sending their kids to it. And we had on people call in that were against it. And this woman, I'm never ever going to say her name because that's what she wants, called and said that we are inciting violence against children. So the OIG listened to hours of our program and determined that we were not inciting violence against children, because I would never do that ever in a million years. Parents, if they want to send their kids to that is their parental choice. Would I send my kids to that?
No.
No, but we would never say anything or never do anything to hurt children. At least I wouldn't. I know you wouldn't. I know John Anthony wouldn't. But that's like she's taking time away from real abuse that is happening. Real abuse in some instances in cars where they are taking kids to Broadway musicals in Chicago. And in one case, this middle school teacher had sex with her in the bedroom. And that's so sad that the left is that deranged that if we don't agree with what they say, that they're going to target you and then even take away from real issues and real things that are happening in our society. It's just, it's unbelievable to me.
Yeah, it seems to be part of this larger trend that is kind of using children as political pawns, as kind of social pawns in these kind of greater kind of ideological fights. And they seem to have no problem, using kids as kind of props in this, as social experiments and putting them at risk. I think, we don't necessarily know what some of the effects are. We don't, they're very quick to bring in, drag queens, outside adults who are involved. And I would say, nothing against, adults that want to go to these things, but we don't always know, who these people are and why they're necessarily really interested. Men that want to dress as women in kind of scantily clad clothing, they're really interested in reading to kids. That might, I might look at them with a little more scrutiny.
Well, why would they want to do? I mean, if I was a drag queen, why would I even want to perform and gyrate like that on the floor in front of little children?
And most don't.
Exactly.
And most don't. There are believe it or not, there are drag queens, and they've come out. We've played them, their interviews on our air. Or like that is perverse and disgusting, and they would never do that.
Of course. And my point is that when you bring this up, though, it's like you're the crazy one.
Yeah.
Right.
You hate children. You don't want them to be exposed. Yeah. I mean, we've kind of, there's kind of this psychogenic, socially transmitted insanity going on that I think we're all trying to make sense out of. And I think a lot of us are left feeling like, are we crazy? Like, I'm going to get, someone speaks out against drag queens coming into schools or even asks questions, and someone's going to call their job and threaten them or try to get them fired.
Well, they did. And the OIG just determined that there's no inciting of violence against anybody because there wasn't. And that we have a right to free speech. I'm like,
thank you.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, Frank.
Glad they got to the bottom of that.
Yep. Yeah, Frank, we're going to have to. Yes, thanks so much for coming on. You can read his works at chalkboardheresy.com, teacher, historian, and writer of said website. Thank you, Frank McCormick, for coming on. We appreciate it. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you suffer from peripheral neuropathy in your hands or feet? Is continual numbness, tingling, and burning pain stopping you from being with your family? Are you unable to play golf or other activities you used to enjoy? Are you concerned about falling, or have you already? Have you tried typical treatments of drugs and therapy and not gotten any better or even worse? There's now a treatment that's already helped thousands improve their neuropathy so that they can get their lives back. Gold Coast Chiropractic now has a cutting-edge natural solution with a 95% success rate to improve your neuropathy right here in Chicago and can be done in the comfort of your own home. A solution that addresses the underlying cause of neuropathy without taking endless drugs with serious side effects. Call today for a complimentary nerve screening in the Gold Coast or Wheaton to see if this treatment can get you your life back. Call 773-524-4164. That's 773-524-4164.
Oh, see, he and I are talking. Speaking of, because we were talking about vaccinations.
You just told me you're not used to talking to people when you're in break.
U of I. Listen, did you hear this real quick, though? University of Illinois removes COVID-19 vaccination and testing requirements. Huh. On the same day that Governor Pritzker gets inaugurated for the second time. I mean, I'm all about timing and everything.
And here I was going to go get a booster to my booster for my booster today.
Yeah. And the president reiterates, encouragement to all members of our community to get one of the COVID-19 vaccines and available boosters, even if they are no longer required. And they want to continue to offer protection for those and those around you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So now maybe you can send your kids back to University of Illinois if that was a problem. All right. Va-va-voom. Right?
I got it back. Yeah.
Did you get it back? I know how you could get it back.
Yeah.
You take Balance of Nature. I take it because I know I'm not getting enough fruits and veggies on my own, and that is where Balance of Nature comes in. 31 whole fruits and vegetables, real food, real nutrition. And people that I talk to that have been taking Balance of Nature love it. They're addicted to it, Quinn McCarthy. He makes fun of me because I love my Balance of Nature. But it's real nutrition that your body needs, that your body craves, and is so important to have fruits and veggies. It's God's fruits, that's for sure. And good nutrition is a foundation of all aspects of health. So take your Balance of Nature. I take 6 capsules, 3 fruits, 3 veggies every day, and I have definitely noticed a difference. Be one of the cool kids. Order your fruits and veggies today. 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to use discount code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Nick Philippus, co-owner of Joe Donut and a proud customer of Signature Bank. We're a locally owned artisan donut shop that focuses on chef-made small batch and craft donuts. We have 7 locations around the Chicagoland suburbs, with an 8th location coming soon. After opening our original stores in Glenview and Niles, we came to Signature Bank for financing for our new Mount Prospect location. From PPP and material delays in construction, Signature Bank was flexible and truly a banking partner that a small business like ours hadn't experienced before. Even their fraud department was able to stop a $30,000 fraudulent check from clearing our account. That allowed us to focus on selling donuts, knowing Signature Bank had our back.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When you're looking to make your business bulletproof, what comes to mind? Trustworthiness? Accuracy? Truthiness? Well, that's not even a real word. In today's competitive business landscape, considerations like trust, attention to service, accuracy, and knowledge are critical. So is cost, and finding the right balance is important, especially where your business insurance, employee benefits, and executive compensation needs are concerned. For bulletproofing your business, remember DSP Insurance Services. DSP is family-owned and has provided comprehensive risk management solutions and strategic excellence across industries for over 40 years. Business owners continue to partner with DSP because they offer the robust services of a national broker, yet a personal touch that is harder than ever to find these days. Contact DSP Insurance Services for a business and risk audit today. Visit online at dspmybusiness.com. That's dspmybusiness.com. DSP Insurance, your outsourced risk management department since 1981.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right. Job numbers are out. And how's that mortgage business doing? Whew. We'll get the latest with our good friend David Hochberg. And later, I want to hear about your
profiling, my profiling at the Social Security office.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'll tell you that story.
But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
25 degrees at 7:32. Pockets of locally heavy, dense fog and potential slick surfaces this morning. The House will take up debate on the new rules today after electing a speaker. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy finally gained enough support over the weekend from his own party to become speaker. Florida Representative Corey Mills this morning details what may be in the rules package.
My vote went to Kevin McCarthy was because of these votes. So things like, for example, a motion to vacate the chair, 72-hour notice prior to votes on legislation, single subject bills, and germaneness. The formation of the church-style commission, which allows us to target and investigate the weaponization of federal government.
Though some rule changes may go uncontested, others, like some defense cuts, are expected to cause some disagreement. Officials in Brazil say about 400 have been arrested connected with the weekend storming of government buildings there. More than 7,000 nurses at two major New York City hospitals have walked off the job. This nurse, Lila, is one of them.
We've been negotiating since September because we need change, we need safe staffing, we need staffing enforcement.
She joins nurses at Mount Sinai's main Manhattan campus, walking off the job. California facing another series of incoming storms this week.
Our state federal Joint Flood Operations Center is fully operational on a 24-hour basis based here in Sacramento. That is where the flood experts in the state are located.
An even more powerful storm system is expected to move onshore later today. Colorado's governor agrees moments ago to stop sending illegal immigrants to Chicago and New York City. Governor Jared Polis made the announcement yesterday after talking with Mayors Lori Lightfoot and Eric Adams. 5 are hurt following a crash on Chicago's north side in the 1900 block of West 2E. All 5 victims hospitalized. 2 are in critical condition. An investigation is underway after a body was found in Lake Michigan. The discovery made yesterday in the first block of North DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The body has yet to be identified. Vikings lock up the number 3 seed in the NFC playoffs after a 29-13 win over the Bears at Soldier Field. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus says losing is never fun, but they're turning the page.
Again, our eyes are forward now. I thought our guys battled today. I thought they did a really nice job of that. And again, they worked hard together. It didn't come out on the end on our side, but that's the way it is.
The Bears get the number 1 pick overall in the NFL draft after ending the year at 3-14. McDonald's says they're laying off some corporate staff. In a memo to employees, CEO Chris Kempczynski says the company is evaluating roles and staffing levels. White Sox player is undergoing major cancer treatment. Liam Hendriks diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he'll start treatment today. Blackhawks 4-3 overtime winners over Calgary at the UC. Northwestern's Wildcats survive a late rally and earn a road win in Big Ten hoops over number 19 Indiana at Assembly Hall, 84-83. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage. You can join today at 560theanswer.com/join. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Brandon Tatum explains the strategy.
I think I have the diagnoses of how black people get tricked all the time by Democrats. The Democrats have not done anything that makes any sense for the black community. They don't care. They told you what you wanted to hear to take advantage of you. All they want is your vote. All they want is power and control. And they're going to do whatever they want to do after they get it.
The Officer Tatum Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, it's Dan Proft. You know, I like to speak the truth and offer solutions. Well, if you have high blood pressure or know someone who does, I have the answer for you. I'm going to tell you about my friends at 120 Life. 120 Life, they're a Chicago company that developed a juice drink that helps lower your blood pressure naturally, or in my case, helps me keep my blood pressure in check. 120 Life, it's a natural juice drink you drink every day without the side effects of pills. I'm drinking it, I love it, and you will too. It keeps me energized, it keeps my blood pressure in check. The truth is, there are easy, natural ways to keep your blood pressure in check, and one of them is 120 Life. Check it out and tell them Dan Proft sent you. Visit 120life.com. That's 120life.com. You can order a 2-week trial pack of their juice drink. There's a money-back guarantee. And you can use the coupon code DAN to save 10%. The natural answer to high blood pressure. Visit 120life.com today and start lowering your blood pressure in just 2 weeks.
This is Ryan Anderson, president of the Ethics and Public Policy Center for townhall.com. 100 years from now, people will still be reading the works of Joseph Ratzinger, the man who went on to become Pope Benedict XVI and was laid to rest last week. They'll be reading him because he was one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th and 21st centuries in general, and perhaps the greatest Catholic mind of the past 50 years. Benedict understood that the great challenge of our time is a battle of ideas. A battle of ideas about who and what God is, if God is. A battle of ideas about who and what man is, and what man's place in the cosmos may be. A battle of ideas about faith and reason, and mankind's ability to apprehend objective truth. As brilliant as he was, he knew the thing that mattered most was friendship with God. His last words on earth were reportedly, "Jesus, I love you." May they be all of our last words as well. I'm Ryan Anderson.
Publicpolicy.pepperdine.edu.
Now through January 31st, Permaseal has 10% off all of our products and services. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer. Our family is proud to help you protect your biggest investment and provide the peace of mind that comes with lifetime warranties and permanent solutions at the best price of the year. In these uncertain times, we want to make it easy for you to have a warmer home, dry usable crawl space, and a stable foundation. Call 800-421-SEAL to schedule a free inspection. This sale includes all of our services like structural repairs, plumbing, sewer, electrical, insulation, egress windows, crack repairs, sump pumps, concrete raising, basement defender systems, everything's included. For the past 44 years, over 500,000 homeowners have trusted Permaseal, and so can you. 800-421-7325 or visit permaseal.net to schedule your free inspection. Call before January 31st. Ask about our 12 months no-interest financing. This offer may not be combined with any other discounts or promotions.
Nobody should have to pay for one-size-fits-all insurance coverage. Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance, so you only pay for what you need.
7:39, quick update on the roads. A service of Dan and Amy 24/7 around the clock all day, every day. Listen now, danandamy247.com. In our Team Hochberg Traffic Center, the Edens is at 17 Lake Cook Road into the junction. Ike inbound 53 from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson right now rings up a 46-minute commute from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. And the Dan Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast, clouds and sun, and 41 today. It's 25 right now. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey.
This hourly segment is brought to you by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping you powered up no matter what the conditions.
If If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
As I mentioned before the break about University of Illinois removing their COVID vaccination and testing requirements, they were so bad during the beginning of COVID, they would lock students in their rooms. And they wouldn't even let them go out to take the garbage out. That's how bad it was. And it was so bad. One University of Illinois student committed, I have a hole in my sweater. One committed suicide. And I remember we had his mom on this program, and she said it was because of the lockdowns, because he couldn't leave the room. Yeah. And he went crazy. And we did have 3 COVID deaths in Chicago, and Dr. Awardi did tell me that all of them they didn't die from COVID, they died with COVID, that they all had severe comorbidity, and a death of any child is horrific, and awful. But we had a lot of suicides because of COVID.
Well, I mean, obviously, when that's and this is going to go on for a long time. I mean, what we've gone through, and I get it at the beginning, we didn't know what was happening, but as we started to turn the corner and kind of rein ourselves in a little bit from being, just a bunch of sissies that we are. I mean, what's going to happen and the things that this has caused is going to be implications for years. I don't get it. I mean, I guess I look at the only way I can look at kids or deal with kids is those that are around me. Right. And I don't know a young man in my life that would allow somebody to lock themselves in a dorm room. I just don't. Really? I know if it was my kid, there's no way.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment, because we have a new variant here.
Yeah.
XBB.14 something.
That's my ham radio operation license number.
And normally, Jimmy Fallon tries to be funny every night, on his show. I don't know if you watch his show.
I generally don't.
But he's talented. I mean, he can sing, and he came up with a little ditty about this new variant. And I'm so glad that the Hollywood left is having such a good time with this.
There was Alpha, then Delta, then Omicron next. But this latest variant might be the best. It's XBB.1.5. Another brand of COVID-19 has arrived. It's a new strain, but it isn't the same. Sounds more like Elon Musk's his name. It's XBB.1.5, not UB40 who sings red, red wine. Put on your mask when you're inside a facility. It could be a robot from a Star Wars trilogy. It's XBB.1.5, not OMG or MP3 or TCBY or an iChart made by a really high guy. Sounds like the password of your parents' Wi-Fi. It's XBB.1.5. XBB.1.5.
Okay, when can I start laughing about this? Because I'm not in the laughing mood, because I know you're a football dad.
Yeah.
I'm a football mom.
Yeah.
We had 3 games.
Suspended, taken away
Our
from
whole
you. Yeah.
spring season
Yeah.
for boys volleyball was canceled.
Yeah.
Do you know how many more scholarships I could have gotten for our kids or helped them get? If we had, we didn't
People don't think
touch
like
the
that.
ball once.
People don't think like that, Amy, because sports isn't something you need to do because, football's bad. It's going to get you hurt.
We're all going to die with football.
It's just that here, what Jimmy Fallon was doing there? What we refer to that in the talk radio business? Filling a break. It's time.
No, I thought he was being. The left is over. The left is now laughing at this. They want to, okay, so maybe we made some wrong decisions along the way, but let's have fun with this new variant now.
The problem I have with Fallon is he tries to be the star on the Tonight Show, and when whether it was Leno or whether even Letterman, none of these guys tried to be the star. They always tried to, you prop up the people that are there. You don't just do it for your own gain. And of course, Fallon, by way of Saturday Night Live, he's a star, so he's got to be fun and funny.
It just sickens me that they're having such fun with this at our expense. Life experiences were taken away that cannot get back.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I think it's bigger than that. And then speaking of football, President Biden talked about if football's dangerous. He wouldn't talk about the border. Mm-hmm. But when asked about football, and Damar Hamlin, who, by the way, is making a great recovery, FaceTimed with his teammates yesterday, saying that there's something greater than the game, and that's love. But here's Biden about the dangers of football.
The NFL is getting too dangerous. No, look, the idea that you're going to have, you got guys that are 6'8", 340 pounds, running 4'8", 40. I mean, you hit somebody with that kind of force. Now, that's not what happened here. But I just think it's, I don't know how you avoid it. I think working like hell on the helmets and the concussion protocols, that all makes a lot of sense. But it's, it is dangerous. You got to just acknowledge it.
Yeah, but you see now here, I'll give him some wiggle room there because I agree. You got to work on concussions. Helmet safety is cool. But you know what? Walking across the street is dangerous. I'm going to go race snowmobiles this weekend and go in a circle with 12 other idiots with 300 carbide bikes on our track going at copious amounts of speed. Is there a chance
I'm going to have to worry about you.
Well, don't, because it's what we choose to do. We all make choices.
I'm a professional warrior.
And the thing is that it's not, it's not causing anybody else. I mean, I've got my own insurance. I'm not a burden on anybody. We all choose to do what we want to do. It's called a free society. Have a little fun and live a little. Come on, man.
I know.
Come on, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he stood up to him. I mean, there's nothing worse than that.
I want to meet this Corn Pop. Don't you want to hang out with Corn Pop?
Bad, let's face it.
All right, so recently you had an issue. Was it you're being racially profiled?
So I go, my mother calls me on, and my mom's 90. She identifies as 65. My mom at 90 is better than most people at 50.
Good.
I'm telling you, this woman is on task. She fishes every day in the summer. She just gets stuff done.
So she's busy, and she's remained young because she has a schedule.
Yeah, she just comes from good stock. And she calls me, and she's like, I've got a real problem here. And she's up in northern Wisconsin. And I'm thinking, okay.
Her voice does not sound like
that's
that.
how I hear it.
Okay.
We've got frozen pipes. The sewer's backed up. She's fallen and broken a hip. What's the deal? I go, well, what can I help you with? Because I'm down here. Now, usually I have somebody up there, with her, or she's with me. The Social Security Administration messed up my check. They said I made $350,000 a year.
Whoa.
So
$350,000?
$350,000 a year. She's 90. So here's what happens.
Well, she's retired, right?
Yeah. Social Security numbers go crazy. So she's not getting any money because they think she's made and her insurance has gone through the roof. So she talks to her accountant. I don't know. She makes no money. She lives off Social Security and a little savings. Nobody expected Mom to live to 90. I mean, she's cutting into my inheritance.
Oh, my, Ray, that's so rude.
She asked me what I should get her I said, what can I get you for Christmas? She said, a do not resuscitate shirt. I said, Mom. So she goes, here's what you got to do. I talked to the accountant.
Uh-huh.
You've got to go online to www. I'm like, no, I don't need to. Don't
she gave you the www.
Don't do that, because she doesn't know.
Yeah, I know.
And she's nervous, I can hear it in her voice. And then she tells me she's scared. So I'm like, okay, I've got to fix this for her.
Well, it is scary, especially if you're on a set income and
absolutely.
you're relying on that money.
And you wonder how many people they do this to that don't have somebody that'll go down to the local Social Security office. So I log online to the www and I get the form and I fill it out and then I bring it. I figured, why mail it in? There's a Social Security office in Aurora. I'm in Batavia.
Oh, yeah,
I'll go. They open at 9. I'll get there early. I'll bring my coffee. I'll go.
How was that experience?
8:45 I get there, and I swear to God they were giving away Taylor Swift concert tickets.
Was the line out the door?
The line, I was 43rd in line at 8:45 in the morning. The only guy that could speak English in the whole group, and I'm having a coffee. I'm the only guy that's not wearing a mask. And
oh my God.
Out comes the security guard. All right, it's 8:55. It's 5 minutes to 9. We open up at 9 o'clock. Here's the rules. And I'm standing there, and this woman's looking right at me.
Uh-huh.
You got to have a mask on.
No, you don't.
And if you don't have a mask on, we'll provide you one.
Wait, how long ago was this?
This was last Thursday. So it was,
There's no mask mandates.
This is why I'm being profiled.
Okay.
Because I don't have a mask.
Oh, that's where it came in.
And then the second reason I'm being profiled is, and if you don't have a mask, we'll give you one, and no drinking coffee. And,
you got a double whammy.
And there I am with my Dunkin' Donuts cup, and I kind of.
Why don't they let you drink? Could you drink water? Or they just
you probably could be bringing something nefarious in. I don't know.
Oh.
It's a federal building, you see. So I just looked at her and I winked, and I held up my cup of coffee and I winked at her and I said, "How you doing?" She just did not like me.
No.
So I get in there and I sit down, and the guy that helped me was really friendly, really nice.
Oh, good.
And I said, look, man, I go, unless my mom is cooking meth or selling her Elvis collection, she's not making $350,000. And he goes, no, he goes, she hasn't had a job since 1986. He goes, we'll get back to you in 50 to 60 business days. I go, 50 to 60 business days?
She could starve by
then. She might not be here by then.
50 to 60 business days?
And she's 90. But, I just thought, it freaked her out. So I'm telling you.
Well, did they admit that they made a mistake?
Oh, yeah, they admit it. But they can't fix it. We'll send you a judgment and whatever. He goes, we'll take care of it.
Well, will they give her back pay? Or?
Oh, well, they don't have to because she kept saying, I don't know where my stimulus check is. And I'm like, well, neither do I. And now we find out it's because she made too much money. She made $350,000. Maybe, you know what? My mom likes bingo. She's in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe she's doing one of those bingo shows for the kids.
Well, oh, yeah, right. That's insane. What did she do for a living, though, by the way?
My mom was basically a housewife, which God bless her.
That's a profession.
And then she would do my dad had his own. We had a sheet metal heating and air conditioning and sheet metal company. Right. We worked on a lot of big buildings in Chicago, and she would do his book work. And then in order to get work in Chicago, he made her the owner of the company because if you're not a minority owner, you don't get any work.
That's right.
So that's what we did. So, and then she always says, well, I was the president of the company. And I'm like, I never saw you there. I never saw you there at 5 a.m. getting ready to go up on a 100-degree roof.
But she was the president of the company,
yeah.
According to the books.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Your show keeps me alive during the week. There's nobody I'd rather listen to between 5 and 9 in the morning than you guys.
On AM 560, The Answer.
2022 was anything but uneventful. The start of the new year reminds us all about the things we meant to do, but just never got around to do. And financially, there may be some really important things you've overlooked. Did you make any changes with your savings during the market volatility? Or did you just sit around hoping things would somehow work out? The moves you make right now could affect your retirement income for many years to come. So talk to Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group about getting 2023 off to a good start with a complimentary portfolio review. If you've saved $250,000 or more for retirement, call 630-934-1855. That's 630-934-1855, or go online to alphawealthgroup.com, alphawealthgroup.com.
Advisory services through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Alpha Wealth Group, licensed in Illinois. The following is a paid political announcement.
Dr. Willie Wilson, the son of a sharecropper. He left home at age 13 to mop floors and flip burgers, with a vision for a better future for himself and those like him. A future where he can make a difference by creating jobs, by helping the disadvantaged, by giving back. The great city of Chicago needs Dr. Willie Wilson as mayor to bring out its best.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Hi, it's Amy, and MyPillow is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Folks, they look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me, which is crucial for my busy schedule. So trust me, these sheets are ridiculously comfy. Rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get duvets, quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. MyPillow is also extending their money-back guarantee until March. So go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Use promo code Amy, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including those amazing Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98 while quantities last. And don't forget to use promo code Amy for the best possible discounts available.
Democrats predicted an end to high inflation, but nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to protect your savings from inflation by diversifying into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word safeguard to 989898, and you'll get a free info kit on gold IRAs that will explain everything. Again, that's safeguard to 989898. There's no obligation or purchase required.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Guys, if you've noticed a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. Schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored self-inject at-home testosterone treatments for $155 a month cash pay or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near Low T Center or you just need the convenience of at-home treatment, Low T Center makes it easy. To get started on treatment, only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book online. That's lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, before we continue, big shout out, because Mike Scott won't cover it in his newscast, to South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits, ears up, they beat North Dakota State.
The Jackasses? What?
I said the Jackrabbits. They beat North Dakota in the national championship yesterday. It was on ABC News. It was a big deal.
And where did this quarterback go to school?
He went to Neuqua Valley.
You ever been to Neuqua Valley?
I have been. It's
like
beautiful.
It's like a Division II college.
It's gorgeous.
School, yeah.
So he's a sophomore there for the Jackrabbits, and good for him.
Okay, good.
That's why I thought it was a local story, Mike.
Ears up.
Ears up. Thank you.
Did you cover the Michigan games too? Because J.J. McCarthy's from LaGrange.
Oh, that's right. Didn't he go to a Florida school, though, in between during COVID?
IMG Academy, he went there, won a natty.
Good for him. Yeah. All right, so speaking of football, one of your son used to play football, correct?
Yeah, he played at
Batavia?
He played at Batavia, then he played in Wisconsin. It was last week, he called me. He's like, Dad, you're not going to believe this. He goes, but my friend Miles was changing a tire on I-65, and he got smoke checked. And I'm like, okay. I had to look up smoke checked.
What does that mean?
I go, what do you mean? He goes, well, he got hit by a car and killed. Ugh. So
Mike reported on that story. I remember.
I-65 here, and I know it's so silly to have to say this
because I know what you're going to say.
Right.
I can't stand I-60. There's no shoulder of the road.
Well, no, but not only that, but it's like, you will drive in and out. Somebody's driving to work this morning, and there might be somebody stuck in the left lane or the right lane. Nobody moves over. Nobody slows down. Everybody's in a hurry. I get it. Everybody's more important than anybody else. But this kid was a 25-year-old kid. He was a good kid. So what they've done is they've put together a GoFundMe. And it's interesting because this kid's name was Miles Williams. He was a good guy. And if you go to my Facebook page, go to Ramblin' Ray on Facebook. I got a feeling you people will like most of the stuff I post. But it's right there at the top of my page. And Miles' mom reached out to me, and she's like, hey, man, we didn't know about this GoFundMe, and I just don't want people to have the appearance that we're not set up to financially take care of this, which I thought was really, that's pretty. I mean, for her to have to worry about that, I said, listen, this is what this town does, and this is why I love Batavia. And I know that there's little communities around Chicago that do this kind of thing, but this is just a team of people that are heartbroken over this. And they're probably going to take that money, give it to her. I said, let this be some kind of a legacy where maybe you set up a scholarship fund, or maybe you use this.
Honor, that'd be great.
Maybe you use this to help somebody out. I work with the Chicago street pastors in the inner city. I'm going to be on their board of directors this year. I said, there's a lot of people that need help. I said, I can't even imagine the loss this woman's feeling, but if you can do a little good out of this, I said, let the people do it, because you just told me a second ago. Nobody wants to bring casseroles.
A lot of people can't, and that's why people give to GoFundMe.
So I posted up the GoFundMe on my page. If you got $1 or $2, and if you don't, just share it. That's all I ask. If you can't afford, just share it. But I noticed that my daughter donated $50, and I thought, what a good little human being.
That's great.
So
coming up next, Tyrus from Fox News Channel. He'll be here. It is now 8 a.m. WIND Chicago.
A federal death penalty case. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, the first one under President Biden who was anti-death penalty when he campaigned. It's in New York City, in the deadliest terror attack there since 9/11.
Saifullah Saipov is accused of killing 8 people back in October of 2017 after he allegedly plowed a rental truck into pedestrians and cyclists along the West Highway in Lower Manhattan. Prosecutors claim ISIS videos inspired him to commit the attack. The rental truck used was decorated with an ISIS flag.
That's Fox's Ryan Schmelz. Opening statements are supposed to begin this morning soon. Also in New York City, 7,000 nurses went on strike this morning at 2 hospitals in a contract dispute amid staffing shortages. Mount Sinai and Montefiore will use temporary traveling nurses. President Biden's in Mexico for a 2-day summit with Mexican and Canadian leaders. On his way there, he made his first trip to the border in El Paso. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott called it too little, too late, and the wrong place. Not the border area getting the most illegal crossings in what's been a record surge. Fox's Griff Jenkins is in Eagle Pass.
CBP sources tell me that there were 518 migrant encounters in the El Paso sector in the last 24 hours, yet President Biden in that sector didn't see a single migrant. A senior administration official saying there just weren't any at the center when Biden arrived.
The drama over electing Speaker Kevin McCarthy behind them. House Republicans will vote on new rules today to follow on legislation, but there's disagreement in the GOP on those too. Just what they don't need in already waterlogged California, where storms are blamed for flooding and 12 deaths.
Not only today, but throughout the work week, we have 3 more batches of rain and snow. It's really unbelievable what's happening across the West.
Fox meteorologist Janice Steen, this man is near San Francisco.
We have some sandbags and stuff just in front of our doors because we're down here on Bridgeway. So we're slightly subgrade, but
America's listening to Fox.
"25 degrees, partly cloudy skies this morning. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Pockets of very local but heavy dense fog and potential slick surfaces are out there this morning. 5 are hurt following a crash on the north side. It happened last night in the 1900 block of West Toohey. 2 are hospitalized this morning in critical condition. An investigation continues after a body was found in Lake Michigan in the first block yesterday of North DuSable Lakeshore Drive. The body is yet to be identified. Vikings lock up the number 3 seed with a win over the Bears at Soldier Field, 29-13. Bears end the year at 3-14, but they get the number 1 pick in April's NFL draft. An investigation continues after a woman was found shot to death in a vehicle containing a young child in Joliet. Officers responded yesterday to reports of a parking complaint. They found Maya Smith dead in the front seat of that vehicle. A 2-year-old girl was located unharmed in the back seat. Illinois Secretary of State Jesse White retiring after more than 20 years in office. White is stepping down as head of the state agency responsible for driver's licenses and motor vehicle registrations. White is Illinois' longest-serving Secretary of State, a position he's held since 1999. All the state's constitutional officers will be sworn in today. Blackhawks come up clutch in a 4-3 overtime win over Calgary at the UC. Max Domi, the game winner. Talk about clutch. Northwestern survives a late rally from number 19 Indiana at Assembly Hall in an 84-83 Wildcat win. The news, a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Sean Thompson Show, 560theanswer.com/podcast. 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank. Visit signaturebank.bank for all your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from the Fox Business Network.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Crude oil prices are rebounding with anticipation of more people traveling after China opened its borders for the first time in 3 years as part of its new policy on COVID-19. China expects domestic travel during the Lunar New Year season to double this year, and it also anticipates international air travel will rise sharply. Deere & Company will allow farmers to repair their own equipment or take it to independent independent repair shops. The company signed a memo of understanding with the American Farm Bureau Federation. Some groups have accused Deere of using software on equipment that restricts repairs to manufacturers' own dealers. Alibaba shares are surging. Its parent company Ant Group says Alibaba's co-founder Jack Ma is no longer in control. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
Make sure that you never miss a day of Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson when you subscribe to the Chicago's Morning Answer podcast, presented by Signature Bank. Listen to the entire show each day on demand with limited commercial breaks. You can subscribe today for free at 560theanswer.com and click on podcasts or search for Chicago's Morning Answer on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
It seems like everyone is on a complicated diet these days. Gluten-free, keto, metabolic, sugar-free. And with these diets comes special dietary protocol and food products. You can find plenty of advice on your social media sites, but you need expertise to purchase the right food items. A visit to Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop is necessary to shop the best food choices for a medical diet or health plan. Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop stocks all the hard-to-find foods you're looking for, like wheat and dairy alternatives, sugar-free baking mixes, healthy snacks, and more. There's no longer a reason to put off that diet you're supposed to be on when you have Lil's. The staff has personally researched and vetted each item in the store and has plenty of choices in stock.
Lil's Dietary Specialty Shop on 111th Street in Mount Greenwood on the south side of Chicago. Stop in and shop in person or order online at lilsdietary.com and get your items shipped right to your home. lilsdietary.com. Shop, learn, and be healthy.
Democrats say that high inflation would go away after the Fed's rate hikes, but month after month the numbers prove nothing has changed. In fact, food and housing prices are still going higher. Meanwhile, Biden is still finding ways to print more dollars. Hi, this is Stephen K. Bannon, and I urge you to take action to protect your savings from inflation. How? By diversifying your current retirement funds into a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. To see how it works, simply text the word PROTECT to 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. This 20-page guide will answer all your questions about using gold in your retirement account. This is the best way to stop your purchasing power from being stolen by Democrats like Joe Biden. So text PROTECT to the number 989898. That's PROTECT to 989898 to get your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation or purchase required.
8:07. Let's get an update on the roads. Team Hochberg Traffic Center time is a service of Salem Surround. Go to surroundchicago.com today. Eden's at 20 minutes in, Lake Cook Road to the junction, Kennedy and 45, O'Hare into the Burn Circle interchange. Ike inbound 55 from 390 to the old post office. Stevenson 47 from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive, and the Dan Ryan at 23 minutes, 95th into the Burns Circle interchange. Stop and go traffic on 294, the Tri-State northbound between 87th and Archer due to an earlier accident. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast with Steve Williams.
Clouds and sun for today, high 41. Cloudy tonight, low 33. And then partly sunny for tomorrow, the high 42. Clouds on Wednesday, the high 44. Stay up to date this winter. AccuWeather's Wintercast at AccuWeather.com. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
25 at O'Hare, 27 Lakefront, partly cloudy skies. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Take it easy.
I know.
Breathe deep.
I'm excited about our next guest.
You love this guy.
Good morning. Amy Jacobson here, Ramblin' Ray Stevens sitting in for Dan Proft. Thanks for coming in.
You are very welcome. I'm glad to be here, especially for this guest because I enjoy his work on Fox.
Yes, and we're talking about Tyrus. He's Fox News Channel contributor, comedian, NWA wrestling superstar, and now best-selling author of Just Tyrus, a memoir. And I just got done reading the book, and it's hard for me sometimes to... Any of you out there?
Well, reading's hard.
Well, no. It's finding the time.
Right.
It's finding the time to read. And sometimes you just want to take a break from politics. You want to just dive into, other people's stories and their biographies. And this book, Tyrus, I recommend it. Again, it's called Just Tyrus, a memoir. And on our Turnkey.pro answer line is Tyrus. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for joining us. So the first question I have for you is, how in the world did you go from being a NWA wrestling superstar and bodyguard from Snoop Dogg to be on Fox News?
Let's see. What's the easiest way to do that? If there was a formula or a direction, I'd be full of it. I've kind of been a dog chasing the tire when it comes to career opportunities and stuff like that. Random things just kind of happen. But I was bodyguarding for Snoop, and then I was in the WWE before NWA. And then after my time in the WWE, when I was transitioning and I was working with a company called Impact and started getting into movies and TV and stuff, and that's always fun when you're trying to have a steady paycheck. And I got somebody was trolling Gutfeld on Twitter. I'm not even sure exactly how he was on my feed or whatever, but it was some kind of wrestling reference, and I made a joke about it and killed the troll. And then I got a message from Gutfeld saying, "Hey, that was pretty funny. Would you ever consider coming on my show?" And I didn't even believe him at first. I mean, I had seen him on Red Eye a couple times, but I just thought it was weird that a political show would want a wrestler to come on that wasn't trying to bash wrestling. So I kind of went on there with all guns aimed at defending myself and my sport. But it was pretty it was fun. My question was about Arroyo Grande licking donuts and putting them back. So it was real riveting stuff. And I believe I answered the question with the same sarcasm I had right now.
Uh-huh.
And that's a long trip to talk about that. But during our first break, he just said, "Man, your timing is crazy. If you lived in New York, I'd make you a co-host. I'd bring you back." And I was just like, "Well, I'm not moving to New York, and still not." And he just said, "What about once a month?" I was like, "Sure," and it just kind of grew from there.
Yeah, it's more than once a month, man, because it seems every time I watch, and usually
to a career, yeah.
Yeah. We get up early in the morning, we do morning radio, but I mean, you are, I'm interested by you because I didn't know you before Gutfeld, and I just kind of stumbled across Gutfeld, and I just thought, wow, here's this giant, big man, always got the belt over his shoulder, that you wouldn't think you'd see on a Fox News roundtable with a bunch of people that are fun and irreverent, but you're like the common sense key to that whole show. I mean, when
the everyday working man.
It is. It's like you're, you always say common sense isn't common, but you bring that, and I think that's what makes his ratings in this show, your ratings too on this show. So I mean, beating everybody, and you continue to, and it's just because people are fed up, and it's common sense, thinking that will get us through where we are, and I just love it.
Well, the difference between me and most people is like I've been fired a lot. Things have not always worked. I've been in a situation where I've had to make decisions like, do we going out this weekend or are we paying the light bill? So when I talk about, when you ask me questions about things, you can, if you're good at what you do, and you should always answer from your wheelhouse and in your lane. So politics to me were always secondary. Putting food on my table and keeping my car from being repossessed was more important. And as I was able to look at when something would come down the pipe as far as government moves and stuff, it's always like, how did it affect me?
Right.
And not necessarily how it affected my party, because there's different levels. I always think country before party, and then right before country is me and my well-being. So that's always been my formula, and I didn't think that it was crazy to not necessarily speak from the tent. I don't have talking points. I just have effect. And there's more people who have had my experiences than someone who's just unaffected and just reading talking points. So I think that's where I have an advantage, and it's more relatable because it's coming from a place of sincerity. So
now, in your book, you talk.
I don't BS a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Tyrus, but in your book, you talked about the one time when you weren't supportive of President Trump, and they didn't call you for a while. Can you walk us through that?
Well, no, it had nothing to do with Trump, because I've always, if I didn't like something that he said or do, I speak on it. It was that I was not supportive of voting.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
I was making a joke. And my producer at the time was like, your message, you're gaining so much momentum with your message, you don't understand sometimes what you and I was, because I don't want to vote. She's like, but when you say you don't want to vote, you're telling people not to vote. And do you think that's the right message? And I didn't like it at the time, but when I look back on it, I agree on it, because there is a responsibility where you're saying, just because I don't like something.
Oh,
Tyrus, are you there?
Turn 90 degrees to the right. We got a kind of a bad cell here. There you go.
Oh, are you there?
Now we're losing him. Maybe you can call back.
Yeah, we'll take a break and we'll reconnect with Tyrus in just a minute.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. Your business and your money are in good hands with Signature Bank. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dan Migatz, co-owner and CFO of AM Woodland Outdoor Design in Mundelein, and a new customer of Signature Bank. We specialize in the creative design and construction of outdoor living spaces, providing our residential and commercial customers first-in-class landscaping services. Our company was founded as a one-man operation, and today has grown into a multifaceted, one-stop shop for outdoor and indoor design and contracting needs. Signature Bank was there to provide the capital needed to grow our expansion efforts. We wanted to work with a bank that understands our business and is relationship-focused. Signature Bank is what a relationship bank is all about. We're excited to continue our partnership for many years to come.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Let Signature Bank turn your business vision into reality. Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, we've reconnected with Tyrus, Fox News Channel contributor, comedian, NWA wrestler, superstar, and from the WWE. Tyrus, you were talking about how you mentioned one time on the show that you don't vote. Did you vote in the 2022 midterms? Or is that
I did in Louisiana. Yeah, it was pretty easy. We're pretty happy with Kennedy here. So, our mayor needs some work, but voting is all, like I said, and my message, the lesson I learned was that just because I was having a bad day and wanted to say something smart about the voting process, that's something that you should always, people need to vote. Even if you don't like the situation, your voice needs to be heard. So it was a lesson learned, and it made me think about, just don't always blurt to get the laugh. Sometimes you have to think about there's a weight with your words. And so that was the lesson I learned. But it was a weird lesson because so I took the week off. So me and my family, we went to the Cayman Islands and took a break. And while I was walking by a bar, Rob O'Neill jumped out at me, and I was like, "Hey man, you can't jump out at people. You're not allowed to do that."
And he's the person who killed Osama bin Laden, right?
Yeah. So you don't want him.
You don't want him jumping out at you.
I was like, "Assassin, no, you can't do that. Thank you for your service, but no jumping out." Like that's new house rule. And so that's why I always think of that story. Not on top of that was because I told my wife as we were walking back, I said, she was like, "Who is that?" That's Rob O'Neill. And he's not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
So, every time I see him, and he's a great guy, but it's always like, "Hey, eyes front, man. No walking up on the sticks, as he would say. So
now, in your book, you describe how you were racially profiled by police at certain times and exposed to racism and discrimination, which normally can lead to becoming liberal or progressive. So what was it in your background that led you to become conservative or libertarian?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that I don't group. I believe that being a bad person is an individual achievement. And you're going to meet all kinds of people who think all kinds of things about you. And I've probably had in my lifetime over 100, maybe more interactions with police officers. And on 3 occasions, they were bad. And I don't blame the police force. I blame those 3 individuals. Just like, and it's hard sometimes because grouping is a good way to take away your own responsibility and not looking at what you could have done differently. And the same thing with racism, blaming. And for me, for a while growing up, it was easier to, all police are bad, all white people are racist. Those ways of thinking are very convenient because that takes all responsibility off you. So it's like a crutch. You're going to meet bad people. But for me, honestly, most of the time when I met somebody that was really narrow-minded or racist, they were always liberal. So it really had nothing to do with, and it's a different racism, it's a polite racism. So, the stereotype of the Klansman with a President Trump and a Ronald Reagan tattoo on his back is 1 in a million. You're very rarely going to meet a person like that, no matter how much the media wants you to think that way. That way of thinking isn't around as much as they would like it to be. But you are going to meet people because it's accepted who will be like, you need to have programs, you need to have all these things. We have to help you because you can't do it yourself. Well, we got to take history and math out of schools because you guys can't do it. So, we're going to help you by making it easier for you, and then that way you can get on programs. That, to me, is far more racist, far more defeating mentally than someone saying, I don't like the way you look, and I'm not going to be friends with you. I want to work with you. They don't have the power, and you're like, great, I know where I stand with you. And guess what? I don't like you either. So we can go on about our day. So
it's got to unnerve you when you see. I mean, we're in Chicago, for God's sake. These neighborhoods are what you just described goes on each and every day. People are told that they're not good enough, they can't do it. They seem to be kept down by oppression, all while the system here, tries to tell them do it our way. Yet there's never going to be any gains out of what they're doing. How do you tell somebody that might be going through what you've gone through with your experiences in your past? How do you tell somebody that you can climb out of this and you've got to be a little bit different to shine?
Well, for one, you got to want it.
Yep.
You have to be just like anything else. None of us gets out of a chair unless we're uncomfortable, or we have something that we care enough about to go do. That's number one. You have to want it. 2, you have to be realistic with yourself. Maybe not with everybody else. Maybe you can put on a facade and everything else, but you have to. That's the biggest thing. You have to want it. And people will be like, "Well, everybody wants it." No, they don't. And things like, and it's the challenge of educating yourself is far more important. And this is a guy who likes to lift every day. And I played football. I wrestled. I played basketball. I've had a very successful athletic career, but I only went so far. What carried me through the whole time was the fact that, and you made reference to it, that I was willing to read. I was willing to study. I was willing to dig in because I wanted a better life. And for whatever reason, I had the wire in me not to believe all the Jordan commercials and the things I saw in my neighborhoods that were unrealistic. I also saw the real side of it. TV presents, when you watch TV shows and they present how a drug dealer's life is so great until his friend betrays him and the bad cops get him. That's not how it is. And I saw the other side. I just always wanted more. I wanted out.
Yeah.
And you got to have that fire. That's number one. And 2 is when you fail, and you fail a lot, and I've failed a ton, is that you can look at the mirror and recognize you failed. My grandmother gave me the greatest advice once. I was really upset. I got smacked, I think, by my stepfather, and then I went out and I think I took a bat to the neighbors, something to that effect. And I remember she says, it's not when you get hit you get judged by, it's your reaction.
Yeah.
What do you do when it happens? Because that's what happens, you know. And then in sports, they never see the first guy; they see the second guy, which is basically the same thing. When something bad happens to you, if you react bad, people just will remember the bad reaction. So that really hit home with me. So when I did run across people who didn't like the way I looked or had a problem with that, I also realized that was just that one individual. Yep. And my reaction is, I'm going to beat him anyway. And there's nothing worse than success. I mean, to people who don't believe in you or don't like you. And you're going to run across them, and the color of skin is really irrelevant. And this mindset of, oh, well, there was nothing I could do. You would find a way. Maybe it's not going to be with that company. Maybe it's another company. Maybe you go start somewhere else. But as long as you're believing in yourself, that stuff's not going to happen. And there's going to be setbacks. And 99% of my setbacks were caused by me. So if you look at yourself honestly and don't have delusions of grandeur, I mean, I had big dreams and I chased those dreams, but I also got my college education at the same time. So, you just got to, it's not always, everyone sees the montage of the movie, but they don't realize that it takes 6 months to make that montage. You got to do the work. And a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it was reinforced to me by teachers, people around me. And I saw people who were succeeding, and I was like, I want to do that. So you got to put yourself around the right people. When you're around someone that's comfortable where they are, it's crabs in a bucket. They're going to convince you the system's rigged against you, and that's a lot of arrogance to think an entire system is focused on just me. And that's a lot of man hours stuff when I'm the one who oversleeps 2 hours.
Yep.
Yeah, you're working all the time. So you mentioned in your book, I know that you came from an abusive household and you had parents and foster parents. And do you still talk to them by any chance?
I'm sorry,
not your parents. Do you still talk to your foster parents? Because I was pushing for you. I wanted you to succeed with them, and then it didn't work out.
They passed it a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Did you ever get to say goodbye to them? Or thank them?
I saw them briefly, yes, and like I said, and they were very proud.
Good.
So I got to see them literally weeks before they passed.
That's good. And now, so you have the show coming up, and people are exploding. Our text line is exploding because people want you to do a show here in Chicago. But you have a show Saturday, February 25th in Decatur at the Civic Center Theater. You can get tickets at eventbrite.com. But do you have any plans to come here to Chicago? Something a little closer.
My wife is my booker. She does the events, but we are definitely it's on the map. So if she can find the venue, if you have a venue out there, and you
I have some ideas.
Tyrus Flies, just contact that email and she will get back to you because she makes a pretty good percentage on my shows, so she's going to put me out there.
That's how you keep a relationship strong, brother, right there.
Well, this whole thing was out of spite, so I'm kind of known for successful spite. I did an event for somebody that wasn't selling out, and then when I did it for him, it sold out, and the pay didn't match the event, and she was pretty irate about it, and I said, well, you book it then.
Get him back.
She was like, fine, I will.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, with a vengeance.
So how did you choose to? So she just chose Decatur because why?
No, they reached out.
Oh,
they reached out. She's doing her looking for venues, and we started in. I did the first one in Edwardsville, and then when we were going to go, Edwardsville asked us to come back, and so I was getting ready to come back there, and then Decatur was connected to Edwardsville somehow, in a conversation with her. That's how we got it. So. And it just everything just kind of falls into place. I believe if you,
I have a good venue for you, and I'll reach out to your wife. Freedom Summit, our Freedom Summit next year. I think that you'd be great at our Freedom Summit. But
like I said, just couldn't touch my piece.
Okay,
make it happen.
All right.
God bless you for staying south in this state. That's where you want to be. Don't come here to Chicago. It's not normal. Yeah.
Saturday, February 25th.
Chicago is a great place. We just need leaders to start reinvesting in our communities and our police department, and Chicago can bounce back.
Yep.
It's just they have to recognize, one, you got to recognize the problem. Two, you have to want it to be better. You have to, government officials have to want it, and the only way we can control that is, since we don't have term limits, is next man or woman up. If they're not doing the job, you got to vote them out, and that's how you solve that problem.
Yes, and we have a mayoral race February 28th. So that's a chance to get Mayor Lightfoot out of here. All right, Tyrus, we're going to have to leave it there for today. But again, he has an event Saturday, February 25th at Decatur Civic Center. To get tickets, go to eventbrite.com. And Tyrus, thank you so much for coming on the show. It means the world to us.
Sure, no problem. Thank you, guys. Happy New Year.
Take care, man.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
People use the cliche, my dog is a member of the family, but it's a cliche for a reason. And the Prager dogs are no exception. Sue and I love our dogs. They're a daily source of entertainment, comfort, and fun. We love arriving home greeted by Otto and Snoopy's excitement. So we want them as healthy as possible for as long as possible, which reminds me of another cliche, you are what you eat. That's why we do add a supplement to their food. We choose rough greens, so they are in our lives for many years to come. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, the Rough Greens founder, teaches dog food is dead food, resulting in low energy, itching, bad breath, digestive problems. Don't change your dog's food, just sprinkle on Rough Greens. It's the right vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, probiotics, and omega oils dogs need. Dr. Black is so confident in Rough Greens, he offers a free Jumpstart trial bag. Just handle shipping. Roughgreens.com. That's RUFF greens.com. AM 560. The Answer.
I think the Freedom Summit's a good idea. To have Tyrus here next year, I'm going to reach out to his wife and get the ball
Tim.
rolling.
Bring Cat Tim from the Gutfeld show, too.
Oh, the church mouse who never speaks?
She's quiet.
Okay, she's so quiet.
She brings just enough. I like it.
Okay, sure she does. All right, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Biden hits the border for the first time, but doesn't see immigrants. We'll explain and get the latest from Ed Morrissey. But now let's head into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
8:32, 25 degrees, partly cloudy skies, but some pockets of locally heavy, dense fog, especially in the southwest suburbs this morning. The House will take up debate on new rules today after electing a speaker, Republican leader Kevin McCarthy gaining enough support from his own party to become speaker Saturday. One GOP congressman says last week's speaker vote is only the beginning of a rough and rowdy House.
Republicans are much different than Democrats. We're not just going to line up and jump off the cliff. All of us represent our districts, and we're going to fight for that.
Appearing on CBS's Face of the Nation, that's Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez, who backed McCarthy for Speaker. Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries even says he's had positive conversations already with Speaker McCarthy.
Clearly, we are going to have strong disagreements at times, but we can agree to disagree without being disagreeable.
It took 15 ballots to elect McCarthy. Sentencing is set for today in Los Angeles for Harvey Weinstein. The disgraced movie producer was found guilty last month of sexually assaulting a woman in February of 2013. Goldman Sachs will reportedly start cutting up to 3,200 jobs this week, the latest big Wall Street firm to trim costs. Two are dead following an avalanche in Colorado near Winter Park. Two were riding snowmobiles. 5 are hurt following a crash on Chicago's north side. It happened last night in the 1900 block of West Touhy. 2 of the 5 victims are hospitalized in critical condition. Vikings lock up the number 3 seed in the NFC after a 29-13 win over the Bears in Week 18 action at Soldier Field. A loss for the Bears gives Chicago the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. Bears head coach Matt Eberflus says losing is never fun, but they're turning the page.
Again, our eyes are forward now. I thought our guys battled today. I thought they did a really nice job of that. And again, they worked hard together. It didn't come out on the end on our side, but that's the way it is.
Bears end the year 3-14. Governor J.B. Pritzker will take the oath of office for his second term as governor of Illinois today. Illinois House Republican Jim Durkin is stepping down. In a letter to the clerk of the House, Durkin says he'll resign tomorrow after 22 years in Springfield. And today's quite an anniversary. The world was introduced today to the iPhone. Apple's CEO Steve Jobs unveiled the device at the Macworld convention in San Francisco in 2007. Blackhawks came up clutch in a 4-3 overtime win over Calgary. Northwestern, a Big Ten hoops win over Indiana, 84-83 at Assembly Hall. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. You can text the word app to 64636. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says we're jumping to conclusions again.
And right away, people were taking to social media, people are dying suddenly, don't get the vaccine. They immediately linked this cardiac event to a vaccine, the COVID vaccine, without one shred of evidence that was the case.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Start your new year off right by finally losing that weight. Schedule your consultation with NJ Diet today. Their scientific approach will ensure that you lose the fat quickly and safely. NJ Diet uses your hair and saliva samples, along with their bioenergetic scans, to personalize natural solutions and supplements that balance your hormones, where the side effect is weight loss. You'll shed a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days. Then NJ Diet uses DNA testing to help you keep it off. NJ Diet is all natural, no shots, no hormones, no surgery, and no prepackaged foods. Full supervision is provided every step of the way, and you even get the doctor's personal email and phone number. With locations in Skokie and Oak Brook, or from anywhere with live online video consultations, lose 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, guaranteed. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com, and lose the weight for good.
You know when you start up a motorcycle and you hear it go vroom, 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 when it takes off? I was losing that. I was losing my energy, like everybody does as they grow older. And I don't want to be tired. I don't want to look tired, and I don't want to be tired. I started using Balance of Nature about 1.5 years ago. Noticed the results immediately, and I went, oh my gosh, this works. This is what I've been missing all my life. I'm loving life actually more than I ever have. I missed my va-va voom. I got it back.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. See why Kathy Lee Gifford and thousands of others have had life-changing success with Balance of Nature. Take advantage of our New Year's offer while you still can. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com. That's 1-800-246-8751 and get $25 off plus a free fiber and spice when you use discount code KLG.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Dr. Willie Wilson, and I approve this message.
Illinois' population loss was the third worst amongst U.S. states from July 2020 to July 2021. 2,400 businesses in the Chicago area will never reopen due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As mayor, Dr. Willie Wilson will work hard to restore Chicago by lowering taxes to keep people in the city, helping small businesses get back on their feet, and expanding access to infrastructure. Dr. Willie Wilson, leading Chicago to a better tomorrow.
I approve this message.
It is 8:38. Let's get an update on the roads. And we do that in the Team Hochberg Traffic Center. And this look at the travel times, a service of Discover. We could talk about how with Discover you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. And you could talk about how that's amazing. Well, you can learn more. Discover.com/redeem rewards, where terms apply. Eden's inbound, 19 Lake Cook Road to the junction. It's an hour from the Kennedy inbound from O'Hare to the Burns Circle interchange, while the Ike is at 53 from 390 into the old post office. Stevenson at 44 minutes from 355 into DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Stevenson outbound accident right-hand shoulder between Route 83 and Cass. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. AM 560 Weather Center forecast. Clouds and sun throughout the day. High 41. Mostly cloudy 33 overnight. We'll call it 26 at O'Hare. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, the 15th time is a charm. We finally have a Speaker of the House. Kevin McCarthy was up there making a joke, trying to bring some levity to the situation. You know, had a little egg on his face because it took so long to get the votes, but he got them.
That was easy, huh? I never thought we'd get up here. Thank you, Minority Leader Jeffries. Hakeem, I've got to warn you. 2 years ago, I got 100% of the vote from my conference.
Late night TV, because that happened Friday, Saturday morning. So I got sucked into it and because I watched the first 3 days, and then I took a little break for round 13, came back for round 14, and then was there for round 15. Round 14 is when there was some fisticuffs. Well, possible fisticuffs. Congressman Mike Rogers from Alabama. He had to be physically restrained because he was going after Matt Gaetz, who was the deciding vote. And
I thought Matt Gaetz was going to resign. Didn't he say that if McCarthy was a speaker, he was going to step down?
Well, McCarthy is going to get to work and is doing what Matt Gaetz and the other holdouts wanted.
But when we come back, our very first bill will repeal the funding for 87,000 new IRS.
That was a big deal. Put a cut out the clap.
You see, we believe government should be to help you, not go after you. We're going to pass bills to fix the nation's current challenges, from wide open southern borders to American last energy policies to woke indoctrination in our schools.
That's all good with me.
Yeah, I don't want to drive an electric car.
Well, as my son said, and would say to you, suck it up. At some point in time, you're going to have to do it. So you might as well learn now. I'm like, no,
smack 'em.
That's all right. Well, okay,
like
thank
that,
you.
kid.
Good talk. Does Matt Gaetz deserve a smack for being a holdout?
So is it worth it all going 15 rounds to elect a speaker? Absolutely. We got concessions that really were being rejected as early as Monday when it comes to being able to read legislation 72 hours before its adoption, individual appropriations bills, and ultimately what we negotiated ensures that we will never again have a circumstance like this omnibus spending legislation, because bills will have to comport to a single subject. There will be germanity requirements on amendments, and so it's going to be an open process, a transparent process. I'm thrilled at where the House of Representatives is today.
With more on this, let's welcome back to the program Ed Morrissey, senior editor for hotair.com. Good morning. How are you?
Good. Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Ray. Great to be with you.
Hello, sir.
So with all these concessions that were made, it's Kevin McCarthy. Can he keep Republicans in line?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. It remains to be seen. But, I think that when we're looking at this, we have to remember that this is sort of status quo ante. I mean, the motion to vacate the chair threshold had been one seat for over a century before Nancy Pelosi changed it in 2018. And that was in part because there were attempts to deploy it against John Boehner. And John Boehner ended up resigning rather than dealing with the situation. And Paul Ryan ended up becoming speaker. But, it was fairly stable. And even if you do a motion, you still have to get a majority of people who want to throw you out of the speaker's chair. Now, that's a little easier when you only have a 5-seat majority. But yeah, I think that now that this is over, now that the fight is over, everybody's invested in trying to get to a good outcome here. And I think it really just depends on whether or not McCarthy can make a good case that he's operating in good faith. I think you got people like Matt Gaetz and Andy Biggs who probably will never buy into that. No. But I think for the most part, the rest of their caucus is going to keep them in check, and they're simply just going to have tell them that they're going to lose out on any sort of assistance that they might otherwise get in next election efforts if they keep trying to, blow the place up.
Well, some of the concessions that were made, I mean, term limits will be put up for a vote. That's kind of a sticky wicket. But also, COVID mandates will be ended, as will all funding for them, including so-called emergency funding. That might not sit well with our governor, because I don't know if you know, we're still in a state of emergency here in Illinois for the 34th month in a row.
Yeah, golly. I moved to Texas where they don't have those sorts of things, so I don't know what to tell you there, Amy. But I totally get this. These are symbolic votes, right? Especially the one on term limits. You can't impose term limits on the House of Representatives without putting it in a constitutional amendment. So if they want to pass a constitutional amendment, they can vote for it, but it's never going to get 2/3 of the chamber, which is what's required. And you have to get 2/3 in the Senate as well. And if you're voting on legislation to impose that, A, it's not going to go anywhere in the Senate anyway, but B, it's insufficient because you can't address that by statute. It has to be a constitutional amendment. So those are mostly symbolic votes, and I don't think that was really what was holding up the deal here. I think Kevin McCarthy would have been fine with holding symbolic votes on those types of issues. The issue was who's going to sit on the Rules Committee, who's going to deal with the debt limit that's going to have to get raised because Congress keeps spending money. Those are the issues I think that really held this up, and I think those are the issues where we'll see how well this holds together.
Let me ask you this, because in this instance, I'm glad that we have a 30-second memory and the news cycle travels so fast in this country because you know that this is going to be brought back. I kept watching this and I'm like, okay, I get what's going on here, but still the optics of it every day. Nancy Pelosi's coming out and she's tweeting, "Oh my God, this is horrible. We're not doing the people's work." And when we should be focusing on just the great fact that she's not there anymore. But do you think that this gets used against Republicans in the next election cycle?
Oh, I think maybe it will be tried to be used, and I think for a week or so it had, there was a bad taste in people's mouths. And I would argue it's because this is the type of thing that they should have ironed out before the first day of the session.
Mm-hmm.
They had several weeks to iron this stuff out, and apparently nobody bothered to do these negotiations when they could have done it behind closed doors and gotten their, collective stuff together. But honestly, this is all inside baseball stuff that people, voters outside of D.C. probably don't even really care who the Speaker of the House is, other than the fact that it's a Republican rather than a Democrat. And so I think that this is at best a 9-day wonder. And I'll tell you this. In 2013, Ted Cruz launched an incredibly stupid government shutdown for no purpose whatsoever. So there's some similarities here, right? And ended up almost stepping all over the fact that the Obamacare website collapsed under its own weight when it first launched, and it took them 6 or 7 weeks to get that thing running. It was a big distraction. People are saying, oh, gosh, people are going to think that Republicans aren't a governing party. Well, what happened a year later? Republicans picked up 8 seats in the Senate, and 2 years after that, they won the presidency. I think that those types of inside baseball things really have a very short shelf life. If something like that had happened a month before the midterms, it might have had a bigger impact. But I think that, a year and a half from now, nobody's going to care about that.
All right, so Biden hit the border for the first time, but he didn't see any migrants, and he saw a sanitized version of El Paso, saying only this to reporters. Don't blink, Ed, you'll miss it.
That they need a lot of resources, and we're going to get them for them.
Whoa, big impact.
Right.
Is anything going to change with that visit that he made yesterday to El Paso?
No, I was referring to it this morning as his 3-hour tour of Gilligan's Border Crisis. He was on the SS Minnow down there on the Rio Grande. This is just, it's posturing. 3 hours at the border is really silly. It's fine that he finally went down there 2 years after becoming president and 2 years after touching off this border crisis, but he didn't have anything to say. And it's simply a posture. Now, if he comes back and offers a real reform package that Republicans can get behind, maybe he he could pick up some traction. Josh Kraushaar was writing in Axios that, well, he's going to be pivoting to the center over the next 2 years in preparation for 2024. Well, he pivoted to the center during the 2020 campaign, and he ended up being exactly the same guy he's been his entire life, a vicious demagogue who will say anything that he thinks people want to hear while pursuing the politics of the moment to get the most juice out of whatever is going on for the purpose of promoting Joe Biden. And that's exactly who the guy is. It's exactly who he's going to be for the next 2 years, too.
Well, Trump already announced that he's running. John Bolton now is the first challenger for Trump for 2024. When is Biden going to come forward and say whether or not he's going to run? And do you think he's going to run?
Oh, he's going to run. He'll run. I don't know that Bolton actually announced. I think Bolton talked about announcing, in the UK. And Bolton has said, I didn't actually announce. If I was going to announce it certainly wouldn't be in England, which makes a lot of sense. Bolton's a smarter guy than that. But I think you're going to see DeSantis get out. I mean, Bolton jumping into a presidential election is just silly. Nobody's going to vote for John Bolton. Even among his allies, nobody wants to see that guy be president. And I like John Bolton. I think he's a very smart guy. But there are much better alternatives to Donald Trump if that's what you're looking for. And Ron DeSantis is going to be chief among them.
I just don't see how the Democrats can run this guy again. I don't, but
I know.
I can't believe they did it last time. And you look at Mayor Pete and the talk of this guy running it.
Well, look at Governor Newsom. His inauguration speech sounded like a presidential speech.
That's what these governors do with these big egos. Yeah,
DeSantis and all Republican red governors in different states. Here's part of that if you want to hear.
They're promoting grievance and victimhood in an attempt to erase so much of the progress you and I have witnessed in our lifetimes. In our finest hours, California has been, freedom's force multiplier, protecting liberty from a rising tide of oppression, taking root in state houses, weaknesses masquerading as strength, small men in big offices.
Who coached him, Rob Reiner?
What? Are all Democrats just complete liars, or what is this?
Well, I'll tell you how the reason why they probably are going to run Biden over Newsom the next time is because Newsom was basically running his presidential campaign in Florida and Texas over the last several months, right before the midterms. What happened in Florida and Texas? Red waves. I mean, right. Newsom was on the air in both of these states, my state and the state of Florida. DeSantis ends up winning his gubernatorial election by 19 points, and Republicans absolutely flood the zone. They even won in Miami-Dade, which is, eye-popping in Florida. And here in Texas, Abbott won re-election. Abbott's not a terribly popular guy among Republicans here, by the way, but he ends up winning by double digits, and Republicans basically flood the zone in statewide offices anyway here in Texas. Newsom really doesn't perform well outside of California, and actually doesn't perform all that well inside California either.
He's so pompous, and he thinks he's so great. I mean, you got to watch his inauguration speech. And today we have Governor Pritzker, who also wants to be president. His inauguration speeches today.
But I don't get it. I mean, I don't understand the posturing when you have 350,000 people that have left your state.
Yep.
At how you can stand up there and have the hubris to give the speech you just gave. I don't get it.
Including his in-laws who left and moved to Florida.
Right. Yeah. Everybody's moving out. It's a net loss of 300,000 people last year. This is the first significant outward migration of California probably since the gold rush, and it's coming on Newsom's watch because the place is devolving into an absolute, pit. And you only have to look at what's happening in Los Angeles and San Francisco, the two biggest urban centers in that state, to see exactly why people are voting with their feet and leaving the state. And where are they going? They're going to Florida and Texas, which is the reason why Newsom was campaigning in Florida and Texas, to try to convince them that they're leaving freedom behind, despite all of their own personal experience in this matter.
And you know what happened here over the weekend? I don't know if you heard this too, Ray. Homeless encampments are starting to pop up near Michigan Avenue on Chestnut Street, on the corner of Chestnut and Michigan Avenue, and nobody's taking them down. So that is the beginning of the end of the Mag Mile.
Yeah. I went back to Orange County, California, where I more or less grew up, right, and lived for a good significant part of my early adult years. And there were homeless people on every single corner, and you never saw that in Orange County. You never saw it really in, outside of Skid Row areas. You never really saw that in Los Angeles either, even in the city. And I mean, it's just gotten out of control, absolutely out of control there. And I mean, it's a decline that is absolutely impossible to miss.
Nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, I remember when Old Man Daly was in, and these
water
are stories.
Cannons.
He would call they would tell me these stories. Well, old firefighters say, he'd call us up and get down to the Lawrence Avenue Bridge under LSD, Lakeshore Drive, and there's
ram. Yeah.
Take the fire hose out. They asked him to leave once. They asked him to leave twice. Third time, nope. And they got out the water cannons, and that's how they got rid of. Which sounds so bad. And I feel bad for people, but the homeless people, they don't want housing. No. The ones that I've met, they like their freedoms. They want to be out. They don't want to live. Because they say, oh, we'll give you 3 months free rent, but then after that, they got to start paying, and they don't want that. They want the freedom of movement.
Camping on the Mag Mile. Seems chilly this time of year, but maybe in June or July I'll take it up.
Somebody's donated these red tents.
Yeah.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, Ed Morrissey, you can at Amy Jacobson, SON, and you could see these red tents. Somebody donated these insulated tents, which are, I guess they're wonderful, and they keep the cold out. And so now those red tents are popping up everywhere, under every underpass and along the lakefront. The lakefront, have you driven up there lately?
Can't, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't even...
No.
I just can't believe that that the mayor allowed this to happen. So it's not only L.A., Orange County, it's also here in Chicago. All right, Ed Morrissey, what are you working on for today?
Well, I'm about ready to write about this new Washington Post report about the disinformation freak out being based on absolutely nothing at all. New study that just came out, the Washington Post, 7 years after everybody started freaking out about Russian media trollery and disinformation. Turns out that it didn't actually change anybody's mind, didn't change any votes. I'm going to link it back to something that was written a couple of years ago about the big disinfo government media industrial complex, and I think that that's a very good thing to be looking at today. So that's going to be going up actually in the next few minutes. Okay.
Ed Morrissey, senior editor for hotair.com, and we'll check out your article later today. Thanks, Ed.
Thanks.
Have a great day. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You've heard Rumpke's Garage commercials on AM 560, and now they specialize in servicing Sprinters and light-duty diesels. But the experts at Rumpke's also service Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. So if you own an Isuzu or Chevy low-cab forward truck but aren't sure where to get it repaired, take it to Rumpke's Garage, your #1 dealer alternative for repairs to your Isuzu NPR, Isuzu F-Series, or Chevy low-cab forward truck. Whether gas or diesel, your truck is the lifeline of your business. That's why Rumpke's Garage offers free loaners while your truck is being serviced. They'll even pick up and deliver for your convenience. Rumpke's Garage has the factory scan tool to properly diagnose Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks. Their commitment to your business is backed with a complimentary maintenance plan and free 2-year warranty. Go to Rumpke'sGarage.com to learn more about their specialization in Isuzu and Chevy low-cab forward trucks and schedule your appointment today. That's Rumpke's, REMKES, Garage.com.
It happens every year. Winter. Delivering and receiving supplies and getting people where they need to go can be impossible. Keeping your business's doors and gates working properly to keep out the extreme weather is a major concern. Your business can't afford a loss of income or productivity. Be ready. Call Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. for your commercial door maintenance and security tune-up now. You can't always plan when your doors break down, and it always seems to come at the least convenient time. Industrial Door Company will ensure your doors, grills, gates, and dock equipment are working to specification and give you advice on how to increase the life of your doors. See a range of products and services at industrialdoor.com. Call 847-258-5620. Their team will be there before the extreme cold weather causes financial losses for your company and assist in your time of need. Since 1982, the Industrial Door Company of Chicago, Inc. takes care of your doors so you can take care of business. Service and installation positions available. Muscular work for thinkers. Apply at industrialdoor.com.
Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson here. And if you're a small business owner or make the marketing or advertising decisions for your business, then listen up.
Our annual Food for the Poor campaign is underway, and this year we're helping to raise money for children and their families in Latin America and the Caribbean who are desperate for access to food.
Millions of people, including many children, are suffering because of food insecurity. They simply don't know where they will find their next meal.
Here's how your business can be part of the solution. Become a Food for the Poor business benefactor. Just make a $2,500 tax-deductible donation to Food for the Poor, and AM 560 will give you 40 one-minute commercials to air right here on AM 560 The Answer between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Monday through Friday at no additional cost to you.
And through the generosity of your business, you'll be helping to feed more than 70 children for a year.
To take advantage of this deal, just call Anjanette Natkowski at 847-472-8951 or go to 560theanswer.com/foodforthepoor.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, quickly, Ray Stevens, what's your next project?
I'm working on a thing called a mandel. It's a candle for men. ShopSustainableGrace.com is where you pick it up. Shop Sustainable Grace. Get the mandel, and you can help support this foster filling.
All right, always a pleasure. Love you to death.
Yeah.
And be careful up there when you're snowmobiling. Thanks to Justin Kosick and Quinn McCarthy. We're back here bright and early tomorrow morning. Now here is Mike Scott.
5 are hurt in a Northside crash. And the Bears lose to the Vikings. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.
How to better deal with illegal immigration. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's on President Biden's agenda the next 2 days in Mexico at a summit with Mexican and Canadian leaders. Combating drug smuggling could be a big topic, too, amid a crackdown on a new drug lord who took over when his father was imprisoned in the U.S.
Ahead of this meeting, El Chapo's son, Ovidio Guzman, was arrested by Mexican authorities, and now the cartels have effectively declared war on the Mexican government. More than 30 people have been killed in shootouts with the military.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich. On his way to Mexico, President Biden made his first trip to the border in El Paso.
He's 2 years and about $20 billion too late.
Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott also says the president did not go to the border areas where there are the most illegal crossings amid a record surge of migrants.